Welcome to the heart of the Southwest, the land of vibrant sunsets, cacti, and heat that can knock you right off your feet. And what better way to experience the heat of the Southwest than with ass-kicking hot sauce? Authentically made with the finest peppers and spices, our hot sauce packs a punch that'll take your taste buds on a wild ride. So whether you're a fan of spicy food or just looking to add some heat to your life, give our hot sauce a try. Ass-kicking hot sauce, the perfect way to heat things up. Have an ass-kicking day.
Welcome to Baja, California. Our unique blend of cultures, cuisines, and historical influences create surprising combinations and unexpected delights around every corner. We welcome you with the most revolutionary cuisine in Mexico, complete with a sky full of magical sunsets. Welcome to the million-star hotels. If you're looking for something astonishing, we hold the most important wine regions in all of Mexico, next to the best tacos in the world. Welcome to our own revolutionary and delicious version of Chinese food. Here, the sublimely unexpected is our norm. It's our pleasure to welcome you to our beautiful state, Baja California, where everyone is always welcome.
The ultimate adventure tool, with all the storage to hold even more adventure tools. The all-new, adventure-ready Bronco Sport.
Yeah, I got that right turn. We're good.
Let's meet up at the compound group up.
At 10-4. Yeah, for sure, dog. Good, little driver, straight on through.
Make your days count. Create new stories. Keep track of your pack. Go after adventure. Go crawl every rock. Conquer your playground. Explore every route. Go further. Go faster. Don't ever miss out.
right, everybody, welcome. This morning we are here bringing you guys coverage of qualifying today at the K&N Score Baja 400, the 4th annual, today presented by VP Racing Fuels. I am Austin Fish Farner, and I am joined by Nick Eisenhower here, fellow 1450 racer.
That's it, just a couple steel cab guys doing something cool.
Yeah, we came out here to talk to you guys today. We're going to watch some action. We got Trophy Truck Specs qualifying today. We got Trophy Trucks going, and we have Trophy Truck Legends. The Trophy Truck Spec class just completed their site lap, so everybody got to go out and check out the 5-mile course. It's about 5.1 miles, the course today. So everybody got to go out. They got to mark it on the GPS, and they're just getting restaged right now. And in just a couple minutes, we're actually going to start our time lapse.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what kind of times do you think we're going to see today? About a 5-minute or 5-mile lap. I wonder what kind of times we're going to see.
I don't know, call it 7 minutes maybe?
7 minutes?
Yeah, it depends on what the course looks like, really. You know, too much sand, turns, whoops, bumps. I mean, I know if it's anything like prior qualifiers, you know, down in the sand, all that stuff down in Ojos, it might take a little bit of time to get there. But yeah, I mean, a 5-minute lap might be a little wild.
Fast. Maybe the trophy trucks later.
Potentially, yeah.
So if you guys don't know, the way this is working today is the Baja 400 is going to be your qualifier basically for the Baja 1000. So the way that you finish the Baja 400 is how you are going to start your Baja 1000 race in November. So this is a big race here. It's actually basically a 400-mile qualifying loop, really, because if you mess up during this race, you're going to be starting at the back of the pack, and with over 35 trophy trucks, over almost the same amount of trophy truck specs. So that makes a big difference between starting in the front and the back, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. And that's just I mean, obviously you've got 1,000 miles, so you've got plenty of time to make it up if you finish poorly at the 400. But qualifying today is very important. So qualifying today is to qualify. It's qualifier for the big race of the year, which is the Baja 1000. But,
and something a little bit different. We are seeing extra entries this race because basically guys that are teaming up for the Baja 1000. A lot of guys will team up with somebody that has their own truck, but at the Baja 1000, they just race one truck. Well, everybody got smart, and they're like, well, the 400 is our qualifier, so let's race both of our trucks at the Baja 400 in case something happens to one of our trucks. Hopefully the other one at least gets a decent finish, which gets us a good start for the Baja 1000.
Exactly.
So some of these guys are actually racing against each other today, but they're technically on the same team going for their Baja 1000 start.
Exactly. Just looking for that better finishing position to give them the better starting position for the 1000.
Yeah, exactly. So. And the question always is, well, who gets to, go harder at the race? Like, especially in qualifying right now, like, you don't want both of your team trucks to DNF qualifying, right? Because they were going too hard.
Yeah.
So one guy has to take it a little bit easier just to make sure, or maybe you watch the first guy go and he's like, okay, he had a really clean run. We're going to go for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
What would your strategy be if you had two?
If I had two cars, I mean, you would probably pick one guy to go out there and try and go for that overall, like, good top of the line finish, and then you kind of want somebody mid-pack.
Yeah.
So let them kind of just run a more comfortable, safe pace and land yourself just somewhere so you get a good, solid starting position and not a back-of-the-pack starting position. Yeah. So, you got to try and find that balance between all that stuff. And
that's a tough line to find right there, right? Especially
tough.
Once that helmet goes on, everybody wants to just go for it.
And especially now with these spec trucks and with even trophy trucks in general, like, the times are so close and everything's so tight. It's like trying to find that little balance of, what's too fast, what's too slow, what's going to land me in the middle and then just end up landing in the very back. It's tough. You got to really be in tune with your team and with your times and with your vehicle and everything to make sure you get yourself in that good position.
Yeah. I think we have a start order that we can look at for the spec truck. So this is the qualifying start order. Scott McNeil, the 225, is going to be your first truck off the line, and then it's going to go down. You can see that's a look at the top 10. We've got Elijah Kiger in the 238 next. You've got Dustin Swanson, followed by Thor Herbst. Travis Williams, EJ Herbst, Mike Marsal, Charles Durant, Riley Herbst, and Chris Miller. Now, those are the driver of records, not necessarily the person that is going to be qualifying today, right? How does that work, Nick?
Exactly, yeah. So a lot of these guys, the 400, they'll have two drivers. 400 miles in a race car is a good amount of time, and, it's good to split that up. And, a lot of these guys will have their second driver for the 1000 also racing with them at the 400 just to get seat time at a race pace. Taking the truck down to the desert, doing some testing or whatever is a good way to get a feel for the vehicle. But to actually understand the race pace and how to drive these vehicles at full speed, you're going to want to do it in a race. So this is a perfect way to do that. So our first two guys actually stack up. So Scott McNeil is actually vehicles being driven by John McNeil, and then Elijah Kiger's truck is being driven by Justin Davis. So those are probably the two guys that they're sharing the Baja 1000 with, and they're also going to get that seat time today at qualifying as well as this weekend at the Baja 400.
Yeah, so while we're waiting for our first car to come off the start line, you can see here's the start. This is out in the Ojos Negros area. A pretty cool area. Going to have a little bit different type of terrain. It's going to be some fast. It's going to be some mountain, like you can see there in the background. It's actually a really good spot for qualifying, in my opinion, because it's not just a wide open who can go the fastest, and it doesn't take much skill to do it. And you can definitely end your race today. There's enough sketchy stuff out here that if you try to get too crazy in some of these sections, you could at least break the car. The good thing is, if you do break the car today, you have all day tomorrow to fix it, right? Because today's only Thursday and the race doesn't start until Saturday.
Yeah.
So you do have Friday technically to be able to put the car back together a little bit.
And we've all seen some pretty wild stuff take place, getting things turned around and fixed up in short periods of time.
Yeah.
It is kind of a cool thing to think about when you see a qualifying loop like this that has a lot of technical stuff, a lot of technical aspects, a lot like the race course, because it almost makes you drive the truck with the setup and everything that you would have on race day. You drive it at the pace, you drive it at the style that you would do all day at the 400 versus, doing it in like a gravel parking lot and it's just a big flat track qualifier like we've seen in the past. So this is definitely kind of cool and technical, it gives something for all of us to watch back at home.
Yeah, you mentioned the setup, and sometimes in past qualifyings, like you said, you might take off a spare, you might take off both spares, you might only run a couple gallons of gas. I mean, you're probably not running a full fuel with this thing no matter what anyways. But you're going to run the truck a little bit closer to what you're going to run on race day in this type of setup because you have a little bit different type of terrain, right?
Yeah, and especially if it's like a more technical, tight, twisty something or other, you're going to want that weight to keep the traction down, to keep your truck from pushing and sliding and doing all kinds of fun stuff. You're going to want that thing at actual race spec. So
yeah. So it should just be a couple minutes now. Everyone has completed their sight lap with the trophy truck specs. So the way it's going to work is the trophy truck specs started their sight lap earlier this morning. They all got to go around one lap. They marked the course on the GPS, made sure the car was good. They do get to touch the car. Unlike some of the other series when you do a qualifying, like at King of the Hammers or whatever, you can't touch the car afterwards, right? So it's kind of cool, kind of different. Here you can touch the car. They can go make any changes, any adjustments, change a tire, anything like that. And then they're going to re-rack them, and then they will start. And after the trophy truck specs go, which on our list we have 33 here going today, so it looks like there's going to be 33 trophy truck specs. Then we'll have a short gap while the trophy trucks line up. They're going to get to go for their sight lap, and then same thing, the legends are going to be going right after the trophy trucks. They get to go for their sight lap, and then we will re-rack them and restart everybody for their time lap.
Yep, exactly. And it's kind of cool, taking your time. We were watching, we had the timing here on the computer, and we were watching a lot of these guys on their sight lap and just seeing how long it was taking them to do their sight lap. And Fish and I were talking about, marking the course versus trying to memorize it, or maybe you're filming it. Yeah. I know that's a big trick that a lot of us do is, you'll put a GoPro up and you'll sit back there and you'll watch that footage on repeat and just kind of try and memorize those couple turns or whatever it is in that 5-mile course, just so you can drive that thing like the back of your hand and try and put down the best time possible.
So you're giving all your secrets out.
Yeah, everybody knows that one.
Yeah.
Qualifying's qualifying.
So we can take a look at what the course looks like. Here's an overview. This is kind of a map. So you can see it starts, it goes up a little ridge. It's hard to tell the terrain from this, obviously, it's just a flat picture, but you can see it, there's a little bit of everything. It's not just wide open, there's a lot of turns. This is honestly, like later when the trophy trucks go, this is an all-wheel drive course. I would expect to see all of the all-wheel drives pretty much stacked up at the top. You can see it's pretty tight and technical in a lot of spots on this course.
And that's definitely somewhere where that all-wheel drive truck benefits, is pulling out of those corners. Top speeds are top speeds, and all these guys run pretty close to the same top speeds. But when you see all those tight and twisty technical U-turns and all that stuff, that's where that all-wheel drive's, the front of that all-wheel drive is just going to dig and propel that truck forward. Yeah. Much quicker than you're going to see a rear-wheel drive truck do.
And all of the 6100 spec trucks that are going now, they are all, if people aren't too familiar with them, why don't you tell us a little bit about them? You got one. Well, what is a spec truck basically?
So yeah, for a spec truck for everybody at home, it is a sealed LS3 engine. Comes tagged, so you can't open it, can't tamper with it. So everybody has the same engine. Turbo 400, 3-speed automatic transmission. You can run an underdrive, which is like a gear reduction at the back of the transmission, and then a standard live axle, like a truck straight axle in the back. Other than that, it's unlimited rules, so you can do whatever you want with suspension. You can do all kinds of wild chassis, everything. It does have to look like a truck, but it is kind of the fun spec way of going off-road racing because you are limited by that engine, and technically everybody should have the exact same engine and, within 5 to 10 horsepower the same. So a lot of it does come down to setup, it comes to driving style, it comes to how hard you're going to push it. It even comes down to a little bit of aerodynamics if you really think about it when you come to the flats.
So the rule with the body panels is you have to start with them on, right?
Yes. You must start with your body panels. So that is, you do see a lot of guys cross the finish line missing a lot more body panels than others, and you kind of raises the question sometimes. But I don't know. Me personally, I feel like my vehicle is a lot quicker with the whole body on it, aerodynamic-wise, and keeps the air going into the coolers and where I want it all to go. So I try my hardest to keep my body panels on the car, but you do see a lot of guys that do like to eject those bedsides. So, yeah.
Yeah, any little advantage you can get, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what size tires is everybody running in this class?
40-inch tall tires. The tire size is unlimited, but the standard tire size these days is a 40-inch tall tire.
Nobody really runs a smaller one for any reason, right?
No, absolutely not.
Would you run a smaller one potentially in qualifying to get a different, ratio with the transmission, or would you just change a gear set out or something like that if you wanted to?
I would probably change just the gear set, because I feel like changing the tire size is going to mess with the dynamics of the braking and the cornering and the chassis itself.
Yeah.
Now, you do something, more of like in a very extreme case to where you were in like a short course scenario or something like that, potentially, maybe put a little bit more of like a cut tire that's smaller or something like that on there. But most of the time, most of these qualifiers like we've seen, they've becoming more and more like the race course. So you're going to see guys leaving their trucks at pretty close to race setup for these qualifiers to keep them there. So yeah, you're not really going to see tire sizes changing, but most of the time it's a 40-inch tire.
And do you think we have any cheaters out there with 2-speed underdrives?
I hope not. If we do, we're going to find them.
Yeah, right? So the rule is a single-speed underdrive, right?
Single-speed underdrive, correct.
Where's John Vance at?
Yeah, there was a couple companies. In the short course days and all that stuff, there was a lot of things you can mess with and do that. But, yeah, nowadays it's pretty limited down to, you got your Tube Works, you got your Fortin, you got your the Mason and all that stuff. Pretty standardized underdrive, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, looking over this list, I don't. Who do you think? I mean, this is a stacked field, right? We have 33, just the trophy truck specs. We got 33 of them. I mean, it's pretty stacked. If you had to pick like a top, 3 or 5, I don't know, who do you got here? And you got to look at who's driving with them too, right?
Well, yeah, there's a whole stack here. I'm just staring here. There's a whole bunch of hot foots in here, hot feet, whatever you want to call them, dudes with hot feet. Yeah. You got the Ryan Millens, they're quick. The Grabowskis, they're always fast.
So the Grabowskis, let's talk about them real quick. You mentioned Grabowski. There's actually several of them racing in the same class in different trucks,
got a whole fleet of them racing,
Yeah, so the Grabowskis have their own truck, and we believe that is going to be Jack Grabowski driving that truck, correct?
Correct, yes. And then we have Dustin Grabowski. He's driving...
he's in the Ryan Hancock truck, the Alexander Ford truck, the number 228. So, and he is qualifying. So on the name you're going to see on the screen is going to be, the driver of record, Ryan Hancock. But then today, that is going to be Dustin in there. Here we go. It looks like our first truck is off the line. So that is Scott McNeil in the 225 with John McNeil actually qualifying, according to our list. Somebody might have changed something at the last minute today, so take everything we're saying with a little bit of grain of salt. This is what we have.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty standard. Anything fishing I ever say, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, nothing is official here. It's very unofficial.
Exactly. That's a great looking truck. So that's like an older Geyser chassis that they've put a lot of work into lately. They've really fine-tuned it. Mark McNeil and the guys down there have put a cool new body on him, kind of updated an older truck and, making it look more current, more, up to date. And they've put a lot of time testing and tuning into this car, and, they've been proving themselves to get faster and faster at every race. And, as me, I always root for a McNeil. So hopefully these guys can put together a good run today at qualifying and then an even better one, on Saturday at the race.
Yeah, and that's another name you see quite a few McNeils, right? They're all over the place in Baja. There's all different kinds of them.
Exactly.
We're going to see Jason McNeil a little later, who actually got 3rd overall in his spec truck at the last race.
Very impressive, which is definitely a doable thing in the spec trucks. You have a good clean day, you run real fast, you stay up front, you keep your nose clean. And, you could land yourself in a really good overall position.
Yeah. So this is a look with one of our drones. We're going to have a couple different drones out on course for you guys today. We got a camera at the start line and then a couple drones. We should be able to see around most of the course, besides when the drones have to change a battery.
Correct.
But other than that, we should have pretty good camera views today. So you can see this is a little tight back and forth here. Kind of a fast section, but there is some turns there, and that's why I was saying the all-wheel drives later are really going to propel on this course.
Absolutely.
Out of these turns.
Yeah, and then the trophy trucks themselves are going to have a bit of an advantage running later in the day because you're going to get some berms built up around these corners. If you watch closely here, you'll see him trying to come around some of these corners, and the rear end wants to step out a little bit. It's because there hasn't been a 2-track dug in yet for the truck to sit down in and drive through. So right now, unfortunately, a little bit of a disadvantage for John McNeil driving here, that he is kind of on more of a loose, open, flat qualifying loop and having a bit, not a hard time. He's doing great here, but it is going to be a little bit tougher to get around this racetrack than it will later on today when the trophy trucks run.
Yeah, so basically you don't want to be one of the first guys
No.
in the morning, right? This is a disadvantage going
Correct.
right now.
Yeah, on something like this, on more of like an open desert qualifier, you want to run a little bit later in the day. You want to run when you have some, like I said, some berms built up, some 2-track, the line kind of dug in.
Yeah.
Now, when you run more of like a shorter course qualifier, you know, more of like a man-made like loop or track or something like that, the sooner you can run, the better, because sometimes that dirt isn't as packed in, and you know you start getting big holes and get all kinds of crazy stuff. But something like this, yeah, later in the day is the best.
Definitely that last corner we just saw there, that was kind of on top of a ridge. If someone comes into that corner too hot, I wouldn't be surprised to see a car go off that corner at some point today. Huh?
Absolutely not. And what I'm noticing a lot too is like a lot of really, really big boulders on the sides of this course. So staying in your line is very, very important.
If you get a flat during qualifying, you're pretty much done. You're pretty much going to the back of the pack, right?
100%.
There's no time to change a tire in here. You're going to try to drive it to the finish on whatever you can. Oh, look at that.
Yep.
See, so you're talking about there's no berm built up there yet. He just slid right off the side of the track
Exactly.
real easy, right?
Yep. And here we got the second truck here driven by Justin Davis, the Elijah Kiger vehicle, the 238. Same thing, with Justin Davis is behind the wheel of this thing, you can probably see something rather impressive.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the faster trucks today, right?
I would have to say so, yes. If he has a good, clean run around this and, you know, keeps himself out of trouble, he should be pretty darn fast.
Yeah, definitely one to watch. Davis in the Green Army has been around for a long time. The coastal racing team of Elijah Kiger, a little bit newer to racing in Baja in the spec truck, but they have been around at least, 2 years now, I think, in the spec truck or so?
And they're really good at teaming up with the right people. I know 2 years ago they timed up with Jason McNeil and Jason Coleman. I think last year was Jason Coleman, and they did well at the 1,000. And so they definitely have good plans set forth, and they know how to pick their secondary drivers really well.
Yeah. Now, this course, this is Baja here, right? This is your typical Baja kind of start. You know, the start really goes through the same area, right?
Sure.
This is Ojos. This is where the start of the race goes through. So you're going to be doing the same type of course tomorrow. So it's good qualifying, because whoever qualifies, wherever you qualify today, is really where you should be at the start of the race tomorrow.
Absolutely. And that's something that doesn't get talked about very often is, over qualifying yourself and then causing issues for yourself later on in the day.
Yeah.
You don't want to go out there and put down some hot rod run if you can't hold that pace all day long, because what you'll do is you'll find yourself running yourself up front. You start at the front of the pack, and then you've got a lot of dudes that want to run quicker than you all day long right on your bumper, and that could push you into some sort of situation to where you're driving a little bit over your head.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes we'll see that, right? Like you'll see somebody that has a good qualifying run, and then the race day comes and they're stacking them up behind them.
Yep.
Sometimes it might be on purpose.
Yeah, that's true.
Bobby Gordon.
So we could talk about that. And you got a 2-team deal. Maybe you send that guy out there that qualifies up front, and you let him slow the pack up so you can catch up in the back.
Yeah.
And get yourself an even better starting position.
Exactly. If you know that first guy qualified first, second, third, and you can qualify right behind him, are you going to drive a little slower probably?
Yeah,
right?
maybe. But here we got Justin Davis making a good, clean run. You can see just running through here, like this is just beautiful open terrain, like super fun. You can see the confidence he has in the vehicle and just ripping the thing around.
Yeah, definitely a lot of spots you can make a mistake on this course. Like you said, it's narrow. There's not any room to blow any of these corners.
No.
And if you do, it's going to cost you probably, most likely at least a tire or something. And there's a lot of rocks out there.
Yeah, and looking at this too, like I was saying, some of these boulders don't look very movable too. So a tire might be the least of your worries when you go clipping something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we don't hope that on anybody, but hopefully we can get a good, clean run.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good so far. Looking a little bit faster in the first truck, at least, from what I can see.
Yeah. And that may come down to strategy. We don't know. Maybe the McNeils are kind of maybe looking for a mid-pack start so they could run their pace all day and not really stress what's going on behind them.
That was that corner right before there, too. I'm putting my money on somebody blowing that corner that he just came around. Yeah, someone's going down the side of that hill today. Yeah. It's probably going to be one of these Trophy Truck specs, actually.
Well, and we've got the 249, a Dustin Swanson going here. Beautiful Tisco truck prepped by Jake Velasco. They've put a lot of effort into their program this year. I don't know if you've noticed how they've got 2 trucks. They got one for pre-running and one for racing, all matched out. Really beautiful program they got going on.
And I believe they're from Hawaii.
Correct. They are.
So come all the way over from Hawaii. I know he's friends with Alan Pfluger over there in Hawaii.
Yeah.
That's how he kind of got into racing, was through Alan. He told him, go out there, get a spec truck, go have some fun.
Yeah.
And they're definitely stepping up their game. Like you said, they got a pre-runner now that matches the race truck, right?
I believe the 2 Tisco trucks. So very impressive. And they got one of the best in the business, Jake Velasco, handling all their preps and taking care of everything for them. So he's a local guy here. He's somebody, we all look up to. Does a great job with his preps and his, race program put together. So it's always good to see when the vehicles he has his hands on do well at races.
Yeah. Jake actually used to work right where we're sitting right now, right? He was running Roger's shop here before.
Exactly, yeah. I'm looking at a bunch of trucks he's probably put together and taken apart numerous times.
Yeah,
so.
these ones right in front of us.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can see there's the dust is not going to be too much of a factor today because they're going 2 cars on the course at a time, but they're not starting them 2 at a time. So I think they're starting them about 2 to 3 minutes apart from each other, and it does look like there's a little bit of wind. The dust doesn't look like it's totally sitting there, so I don't think there's going to be much dust. However, if there is a slower driver that starts in front of one of the really faster drivers, they could definitely maybe get into their dust, right?
Yeah, and that's that's something. On a 5-mile course, that'd have to be a pretty substantially slower driver choking up behind him. But it is a possibility. It has happened in the past. I would assume that with a 2-minute gap, you should be all right. Like to put a 2-minute differential on somebody.
I would hope
it's going to be
right?
pretty wild. But, I mean, we've seen it before in other racing series. Guys get reruns because you come across the finish line on each other's bumpers. But hopefully we don't have any of those issues today. And
that's like a 180 turn where he was right there. So that's one of the tighter turns on the course. See him coming along.
Yeah, navigated it nice. We'll see how he does on your ridge turn here.
Yeah, I'm telling you, somebody's going off the side there today.
Yeah.
My bet would be on a rental arrive and drive driver, just saying.
It's a possibility. Somebody with a little bit too much horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is it, right? This is it.
I believe so,
corner.
yeah. It comes up
it's kind of
over the
blind,
crest.
too. So you come up, it's like a blind corner. It's a little harder right than you think. So right there, I think someone's going to go right off of that at one point today.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Hopefully,
if they do, maybe they could just go straight and get back on.
Potentially, yeah. Depending on what that terrain is on that backside, and you can dodge enough
rocks right there, maybe actually.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to make it.
That could be exciting.
But
so you can see there's a couple safety workers out on the course. So this is a closed course today. It's not open for spectating. This is on private land today. So for everybody that's watching, wondering where it is on private land. That's why you don't really see any spectators out there much today. There's a couple safety workers, drone pilots, camera operators that are around the course, and then that's about it. So we will be getting some times in, and it looks like I have the first time for, let's see, for Scott McNeil, it was 7:52. So our first one is
Where is that? About a 7-minute loop, okay.
And there goes Thor Herbst off the line.
The 219 of Thor Herbst and a beautiful Herbst truck. Those dudes, it's always hard to keep track as to what truck they're driving because they're always got new chassis and this and moving on to the next one. Yeah, and they're all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a split. We need a red Herbst truck because Thor and EJ need 2 different color trucks. This is hard to keep track of these guys. And then the big trophy truck, same color too. So you watch from the drone, maybe can't pick up the number.
They should just swap put the red hood instead of a black, and then put the black on the bedsides. Swap it or something.
Everybody get a different roof color so we can tell who's who.
Yeah.
Getting a little loose there in that corner.
He's actually one of the ones that's going to go for it today, right?
So it is actually Thor Herbst himself driving this one. So. He's been, doing a lot of driving. They race just about every race possible, so they get tons and tons of seat time in these things. And, it doesn't hurt that, their last name's the ones that are building the chassis too. So always good to see. They always have good results. So, but you can see them just a little quicker around these corners than we've seen so far. Just got to try and keep it in the 2-track there and, not park himself on a rock.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool footage from the drones. The drones can pretty much follow them almost around the whole course with it only being 5 miles long.
Exactly.
The drones nowadays have pretty good range. The only thing they don't have is, the battery life. You got to change the battery once in a while, right? So good look at Thor here. And after him, it's going to be Travis Williams. You can see right there on the line. Yeah. So Travis Williams getting ready to go next.
A staple in the spec truck racing. They've been racing the 6100 trucks for a very long time, doing well with what they got. I believe this is a newer, I think they've had it for about a season now, but it's a newer Geyser G6 spec truck. Cool chassis. These are a little bit more of a bigger truck than, say, the Herbst chassis or the Brenthals or anything like that, or the Tiscos. But, sometimes that, is an advantage when it comes out there on these big, long desert races, kind of keeping the truck planted and in the holes and in the whoops and all that stuff. A lighter race car sometimes isn't always the best.
Yeah, very true. We do have another time in. Elijah Kiger with Justin Davis driving, new leader out of 2, 7:20.
Okay.
So we got 7:20 for the Elijah Kiger, Justin Davis entry, and then we had 7:52 for the Scott McNeil, John McNeil entry. So we already got a pretty big difference. That's 32 seconds.
Yeah,
right?
that's a big gap.
Big difference. But we expected Justin Davis to be one of the faster drivers today, so that makes sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, I believe Thor Herbst will probably be right up there with Justin Davis as well. I hold those two guys pretty comparable when it comes to driving and lap time. So
And Travis Williams, we see here, he actually had a pretty good run earlier this year. I think it was at San Felipe. He started way in the back. I think he had a bad qualifying, and he kind of snuck up on everybody throughout the day. And no one was really paying too much attention to where he was, kind of, because on the tracker, if you were watching it, he wasn't with, like, the lead group of cars until towards the end. And then he started sneaking up, and next thing you know, he was, like, the winner on time, and then with some penalties, I think he wasn't, or whatever. But, so this is actually going to be another fast run right here.
Absolutely.
277.
Yeah, and these guys take their program very seriously, you know. I'm just through social media, obviously, this is where we see everybody's lives and what they all do. That's how it works. But, you know, they put a lot of work in their pre-running and in their prep. They've got a great team and a shop and the team captain and all that stuff. And so, you know, it's always cool, you know, when you see people's hard work actually flourish and actually do well. So
yeah, and it is nice seeing a colored truck that you don't really see on lots of trucks, so you know what it is when it's coming, right? It's like Pistol when he had the yellow truck, you always knew it was Pistol coming. This one, you see an orange truck. There's not too many other orange trucks out there, so you can tell who this one is pretty easily.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, you got to put some color to your car if you want cool pictures. Got to remember that.
Yeah. You can see it looks like the berms are already getting built up a bit in some of these corners, huh?
Yeah.
So they're really going to get some berms later today once the trophy trucks go.
Yeah.
So tire size between these, the trophy truck specs and the trophy trucks are the same nowadays.
Correct.
No difference there. So there's not going to be any, you know, bigger ruts or something caused by a bigger tire that, you know, it's no issue today. It's all the same.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, when the trophy truck spec class originated, they were smaller vehicles. You know, there was a 37-inch tire max and no underdrives. They were running a smaller LS3. The engines that you run now is a 525 horse GM Performance LS3. In the past, it was like a 425, I think it was, or a 430. 430 is what it was.
Yep.
Was the old engine that used to run. So the trucks actually used to be lighter weight, smaller, more nimble, you know, not as robust. And as time has progressed and, you know, we've realized, you know, this needs to be stronger, this needs to be stronger, it's pointless to do this. They're basically just trophy trucks with little engines in them. So these are essentially a spec truck is the same thing as a two-wheel drive trophy truck. It just has a different engine at this point. So.
All right, we have another qualifying time in for Dustin Swanson from Hawaii. He is in with a 7:27.58. 0.58. So it looks like he's in second place out of 3 that we have so far with times. So he was 7 seconds behind Justin Davis.
Yeah. Now the EJ Herbst truck driven by Ryan Millen is going to be definitely somebody to look out for. Ryan Millen's a real hot guy, drives real fast, does his stuff.
Yeah.
Hired driver for many, many people, and you know he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. So it's always excited. I'm always excited when I see Ryan Millen behind the wheel of something because I know something cool is probably going to happen, whether it be a good finish or just some wild highlight reel videos. But definitely a guy I look up to and respect.
It's cool.
Great driver and everything.
It's a cool program they have, too, because he's basically teaching the kids how to drive, right? They ride with him while he's driving so they can see what he's doing. And then they'll switch during the race, and he'll go over to the right side.
Yeah.
So a lot of drivers, when they're done driving, they get out and they're done with their section. But Ryan actually hops over to the other side, and then he kind of coaches them on what they're doing from the other side, right?
Yeah, he's a brave man, I'll tell you what. It's hard to sit in that passenger seat sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
I spent my time over there, and I don't know if I got much of it left in me, but you know, he's definitely a brave dude for doing something like that. But you can even see right here, just off this first jump right there, you know, definitely going a little bit further than most. So
yeah, definitely going to be one of the faster ones today.
Absolutely.
So we have approximately, what do we got, 6 or 7 trucks off the line so far?
Yep.
We have 33 total trophy truck specs going today.
Correct.
So we're almost a third of the way through. Not quite. So it's going to be going on for quite a bit. We started just after 8:30. Probably going to be going till at least 10 o'clock with the trophy truck specs here, I would think, today.
I'd say so, yeah. Yeah, you know, we're just going to see these times getting a little bit quicker and a little bit quicker as this course kind of gets burned in and, you know, the track gets a little bit more confident and all that.
Yep.
And, you know, just same thing. Just hope that everybody has good, clean runs and nobody pulls corners off these cars.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than being the crew guy having to fix a thing in a one-day span. So
right.
See a lot of guys crossing the border quick to get parts and going back down there. So.
Well, one of the guys that I see that's going very late today, and I would put my money on this being the fastest qualifier today, and I will right now, actually, if we want to do that. Kyle Jurgensen is going second to last in this class today. He is going to be on the top of the board.
You think so?
Mark it down.
Yeah. No, okay.
Driving second to last. The course is going to be burned in.
And he's just
one
Jurgensen.
One of the fastest guys anyways. That's going to be your top qualifier. Calling it right now. Kyle Jurgensen.
Yeah, I'd put it between Jurgensen and Thor. Either Jurgensen or Ryan Millen. Ryan Millen's quick. I'd put some money on Ryan Millen.
Yep.
I mean, you can't rule out Grabowski. Grabowski's always quick too. Yeah.
No, there's a lot of guys that are going to be fast. I think the only thing that Ryan Millen has going against him is he's going right now.
That's
right?
true.
That
Early
track's
in the
not
day.
quite as burned in yet as it's going to be when Kyle goes later. But
That's
it's
true.
better than going first. He didn't go first.
Yeah,
so
that could be rough. Yeah.
As you can see, so far, the guy that went first has our slowest time of the day so far.
So
a little bit rough going first.
Funny story about that. I got to qualify one time with Kyle Jurgensen. It was in Laughlin.
Yeah.
The only time I have been truly terrified in an off-road race car. Because, you know, I understand these vehicles are safe. You know, you look around, oh, cool, big 2-inch tubing, chromoly, welded right. I'm fine. We can ball this thing up. We're going to get out of this thing.
Yeah.
Riding with him was absolutely terrifying. He was so fast, flying over the tops of corners, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And we qualified, like, well ahead of everybody else. So it definitely pays off. So.
Yeah.
But,
so that's Michael Marsal there in the Spy truck. Looks like he's going to be next off the line, and that is himself driving.
Yep.
According to our list, he is qualifying the truck. And then they have another driver, you said, that's qualifying a different truck today, right?
I do believe Jack Grabowski will be qualifying as a second starting position option for Marcel here.
They're going to be teamed up at the Baja 1000, you're saying, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
So one of the guys that's racing two different trucks, they each have a truck. They're going to be doing it. Whichever truck finishes best, that's the starting spot that they're going to take at the Baja 1000.
Exactly.
Now, you don't have to race the same truck at the Baja 1000.
No.
You just have to do the same driver of record.
And number.
Yeah, so the same number and driver of record, but it could be any chassis you want. So if they want to race this truck and the other truck qualifies faster, they can race this truck. There's no rule against that.
Absolutely.
There we go. You can see him off the line.
Another somebody here who's been putting a lot of work into their program. He came in, was it last year, I believe, when they started off-road racing, and came in real strong. I teamed up with Evan Weller at Evan Weller Racing up there in Simi Valley, and Evan runs their program, preps the trucks, does all that stuff, and kind of guided them the right direction. You know, you need to get matching pre-runner, you got to put your time in down pre-running. They're doing a great job with all their media. It's really refreshing to see somebody in the sport doing this well on all aspects when it comes to social and stuff to watch on the internet, as well as doing well at the race, teaming up with the right people.
Yeah.
It's just kind of cool. They're doing it right. So
yeah, it's definitely right. So here's a look at our leaderboard so far. We have 4 trucks that have time so far. So you can see there's Thor Herbst also has a time, so 7:30. So he's actually going to be third, and then Scott McNeil is going to be fourth. So 7:30 for for Thor Herbst there. And that's the 4 times that we have so far. No one else has finished their lap yet. We'll keep you guys updated on the leaderboard throughout the day. Looking at the start line, who do we have here? This is Charles Durance, it looks like.
Yep, the 299. Yep. So that's another beautiful Tisco truck there. Same thing. These guys have been putting a lot of work into their program, do a lot of testing, do a lot of tuning. They work with Sonny over here at Down South Motorsports, and Sonny does a lot of their shock work and all that stuff. And it's kind of cool to see this program progress. I know they were in a different chassis, and they just moved into this chassis. So, it's always good to see guys, taking steps in the right direction, seeing the times get quicker, seeing their results get better, and, just kind of understand this and figure it all out.
Yeah, definitely. There's some guys that come out there and they think they know everything right away, and they go out there and they break every race and they're crashing. They're like, oh, what's going on? It's like, well, just hold on a minute. Like, take it back a step. Like, ease your way in.
Yep. It's very rare that somebody comes into this sport and just sits right at the top of the box.
Yeah.
This is definitely a difficult sport to excel in. It takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of resources and everything. Yeah, it takes a lot of money to, but everything does. Any form of motorsport takes a lot of money. But like, you could have a ton of money come in and just ball the truck up every race, or not pick the right teams or the right this or whatever. So it does take a little bit of time to get yourself into a position where you get these like steady good results at every race, and you just kind of bump yourself up little by little until you find yourself in those top 3 all day. So
exactly, yeah. Money does not buy talent, right?
No,
so you can have all the money in the world, you might have no talent, and you're gonna suck. Like it's just how it is, right?
Yep.
And a lot of the guys that excel in this class started in a different class, like you're saying, right?
Yep.
So a lot of these guys came from either UTV racing or maybe 1600 car or a 7 truck, and they worked their way up into the spec truck class.
Yeah.
This is a tough class. If you think you're just going to come into the spec truck class without any prior experience and do well,
no.
You got another thing coming, honestly, right?
Yeah.
The amount of people that are in this class with experience nowadays, you can't just come in there and compete with them.
No, absolutely not. And the pace these guys run, and I've talked about this in the past. I mean, every time I'm here talking about off-road racing, the spec truck pace is just incredible. Like, you are literally driving at 110% from the time the green flag drops to the checkered flag. There is no, hey, I'm going to take the first lap mellow or the first couple hundred. I'm going to just pace myself and see where we get, and then I'm going to turn it up later. You can't do that. If you do that, it's too late.
Other guy already went full speed the whole time and didn't have a problem, right?
Yeah, and these machines are just so impressive, and like the longevity of parts and everything. Like, you don't really get failures like you used to. You know, you used to be able to hear like, oh yeah, I got 2 flats, still won the race, blah blah blah, whatever. Oh, we swapped a tranny, still got top 5. Like that's not really a thing anymore.
No, no, there's too many people racing. You see, this is Charles Durant's right here in the black and white truck coming by.
You can see he had a little bit of a bobble with a corner back there, trying to figure out which way to go. Maybe.
Yeah, it was like a Y, right? He's like, oh, right or left, right or left.
A Wile E. Coyote situation going on, but
they must not have marked it that well on the practice lap.
Absolutely.
So he's definitely checking up a little bit more coming into some of these corners. Just playing it smart, you know. You got to finish today.
Could be a little bit of experience, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, he's one of the newer-ish drivers in this spec truck class. He's been around for a little while, not totally new, but one of the newer drivers. So he's going now, and then Chris Miller is going to be next.
Yep.
He's been around for a bit. He had a trophy truck they raced for a little while, then they
Brent
sold
Fox
it.
Actually, next.
So Chris Miller was supposed to be next, but he's obviously not on the line, as we can see. So yeah, we'll cross off Chris Miller for now.
Yeah.
He did not go for some reason.
I don't understand how Brent Fox races so many races. Like, how do they prep that truck so fast?
I don't know. He does. He races, and that's a Herbst truck, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I've seen him. He races like almost every series.
Yeah.
Like every entry list I see has his name on there, and he always does well. You know, he's definitely gotten a lot quicker, and every time he runs, I know he had tons of success in a Class 10 car.
Yep.
And moving into the spec truck class, it's very similar. Obviously, not the vehicles themselves, but this driving style and the form of racing. You know, with the Class 10 car, you have a spec engine and spec rules of sorts, and the spec truck's the same thing. So, he understands, how to push the limits, find the boundaries, and sit right there on them, and that's how you get the results that you want.
All right, we have a couple more, speaking of results, we have a couple more times coming in. So we have Thor Herbst. I don't remember if I read that one off. It was 7:30 for Thor Herbst. And then we have Travis Williams with a new low time of the day, if I'm looking correctly, 7:20.038. So there we go. We got a new low time, right? 7:20.
Impressive.
Same as we had a 7:20 from Justin Davis, but he was .494.
Yeah.
We got 7:20.038 now. So just by 0.4 of a second there, we have a new leader, Travis Williams. Ryan Millen, driving the EJ Herbst truck, has also finished with a 7:29.
Got it.
So there we go. We got a couple more finishers, and we got a new leader, Travis Williams. It's that orange truck that we were talking about that snuck up on everybody before. I don't think you're going to sneak up on people when you're in the front.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it is a nice place to be at the, on race day. Stand out front, get your nose clean, have a nice clean air all day long, and you can run the pace you want to run.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you want to be. And these guys, even if you qualify in front in this class, you're still in dust, right? Because you're behind all the trophy trucks and you're behind all the trophy truck legends.
Correct.
So you qualify first, you got a little bit of an advantage, but it's not as much of an advantage as the trophy trucks qualifying first or second, where you would have clean air.
Absolutely.
Actually.
Correct.
These guys are not going to have clean air,
no,
right?
They'll have cleaner air.
Cleaner, yeah.
Yeah, just a couple less cars they got to pass to work their way up. So.
Yeah, and sometimes it's almost a disadvantage in this class to qualify, early, because if you get stuck behind a slower trophy truck legend or a slower trophy truck, those guys behind you, they maybe aren't going slow, and now they've caught up to you, and they have you on time because you got stacked up by one of the legends or a slower car in front of you.
Yep.
So it's not always ideal to be the first qualifier in this class here.
Yeah. It definitely, that is definitely a thing, starting behind somebody who's maybe not as quick as you definitely eats up that whole time differential that you made up on your qualifying time. So
yeah, totally.
It could be a bit of a disadvantage here. You can see here all the other spec trucks lining up, getting ready to go. You got to think all the nerves that are going through everybody's minds and everything, getting the butterflies, trying to get in the zone, just trying to get out there to run a nice, clean, safe, fast, hopefully qualifying run and stack yourself in a great position for Saturday's race.
Yeah, so I think they're starting about, it's either 2 or 3 minutes. I haven't been able to count totally. I think it's almost 3 minutes probably. They're starting apart to give everybody clean air today. Huh?
Yeah.
So that's going to be, is that Brent Fox there still?
Yep, still sitting there ready to go.
And then behind Brent Fox, we're going to have Mason Cullen in the yellow truck back there. That's another easy one to spot. Once again, yellow. See, another great color. So even when the picture's not that great, like right now, we know that that's yellow. We know who that is, right?
Yeah.
Even Brent Fox, you can tell with the gray and the red. That's a good, a good scheme.
Exactly.
So it looks like he's getting ready to go any second now.
And I think just you and I being so consumed with this sport, you can see just a rough idea of something like, oh, I know what that is.
Right. Maybe they're going to fly the drone in the cab here.
Oh, maybe.
Looks like it.
Let's see, what do we got going on in there? What's this guy doing? What's he listening to? What's on the iPad?
And I did just confirm we have a 3-minute start gap. So every 3 minutes they're going. This one should be the next one off the line any minute now. Now, if something does happen out on the course, they will stop the start. So I think this may be a little bit longer than 3 minutes. It seems like
it seems like we've been sitting here for a little bit of time, so there may have been an issue out on course.
So if somebody does get like a flat tire and they're in the course, or they get stuck, or they crash, or they roll over or something, they will hold the start until they can get the course clear. If you are out on the course and you catch somebody that rolled, or your run gets impeded by anything, they will let you do a rerun if you want to. So not always, it keeps it fair that way. If someone in front of you messes up your qualifying race, it's not your fault, right?
Yeah.
So we can see there he goes.
So I'm guessing nothing happened on the course.
It's probably pretty close to 3 minutes. 3 minutes seems longer when you're just sitting here watching it, right?
Yeah, we're sitting behind a table watching a television screen. Yeah, trying to talk about it. Yeah.
So Mike Marsal, something may have happened to him. He was in with an 8:21, so that's quite a bit slower. That's almost a minute slower than some of the other cars. So I'm not sure if he was just taking his time or what happened there.
They could be running in on a flat tire. They could be something.
Yeah. I mean, 1 minute's a pretty big difference with a spec truck on 5 miles nowadays,
exactly.
right? That's a big gap. Brent's looking pretty quick right there, right?
Yeah, he's going quick.
That looked like he was
going.
There we
go. He's got to try and keep it in the track, and we'll be all right. Now, what they say, loose is fast, but loose also puts your tires in the danger zone, so you got to be a little careful there.
Right.
But yeah, he's definitely putting the power to the ground, and he's moving forward, so that's good.
Yeah, so we'll see him coming around, and then we should have, let's see, we're going to have Charles Durant's time should be next. He should be finishing next. Coming in anytime. Look at Brent Fox, and it is Brent qualifying.
Correct.
Looks like he's also qualifying, driver of record.
Yeah. Nice and smooth here.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should be towards the top of the pack, you would think.
Yeah, always a top 5 guy, always doing well. Like I said, he knows how to keep the car together. You never see. Well, I don't know, actually. I think from the 500, I saw some videos of him doing a big 2-wheel, like through some fencing and stuff like that. But yeah, no, always a calm, cool, collected dude. Knows how to run the car at a good pace and keep it in that top 5 position most of the time. So
yeah, the only way he's able to do so many races is if he doesn't tear the truck up so much in between them, right? Because if he was tearing the truck up, there's no way they'd be able to get it ready that quick for these next races.
Absolutely, coming from somebody who preps his own car, yeah. The least abusive you are on your vehicle, the better when it comes to garage work. So
yeah. Especially if you're working on it yourself.
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely something that crosses your mind when you're driving the car, too. You look at that big hole, you're like, man, I bet you we could clear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also don't feel like welding control arms together.
Right?
So let's not do that.
Or a steel cab. If you have a steel cab, you got to replace your steel cab.
Yeah,
so I don't think anybody racing today has a steel cab, right?
No,
These are all fiberglass cabs.
Exactly, yeah. That is something that we do that's a little unique. We do have a steel cab on our tube chassis truck.
Yeah.
But hey, it's for cool points. So
that's Mason Cullen, we can see there, lined up next. The F&L Racing Fuel truck. He's going to be next off the line. Mason's one of the younger ones in the class. I think he's in his early 20s. I think something like that.
Yeah. I mean, he, like I said, another guy coming from Class 10. Great success on the 10 car. I believe they raced a Class 1 car for a little bit too, potentially.
Yeah, I think they did a couple races with it.
Yeah. Buggy guys. They moved up into the spec truck class.
His dad, Matt Cullen, does the driving some of the time too.
Yeah.
It's prepped by John Hoffman.
Yep.
So been around for a long time. John Hoffman does all the prep and shock tuning on this truck.
Yep. And it's a tried, true, proven geyser truck there that does well. Good thing. The kid's got a good head on his shoulders, just like everybody else. Knows how to keep the car together, knows how to run it at a good pace. A lot of it, is you could come down here as prepared as you want to be with as much skill as possible, but there still is that little touch of luck that you got to lean on, and you got to hope that it's on your side during the day. That you don't find that hidden rock in the turn or whatever it is that you don't quite see. So,
yeah.
Because I mean, you could pre-run this qualifier 15 times, you could still step out on that 16th time and put that tire into something you don't want to, and
or the guy in front of you puts a big rock there that wasn't there on the qualifying or on the practice run, right?
Exactly. Yep. That's a big part of it. So
we have a time for Charles Durant's now. So 7:47 for Charles Durant's. So 7:47. So yeah, definitely something was up with the Mike Marsal truck to be at 8:21.
Yeah.
He had some kind of issue to be at that time, I would think.
But plays into hand here that, he does have, we believe he has a second truck that's qualifying for him to run up there. So, there is a potential that Jack Grabowski could run, a great qualifier, get an even better finish.
That may have been their easy run right there, right? Maybe he took it a little bit too easy. Well, their plan was he's going to do the easy run, the other guy goes for it, but then he goes a little too easy, and you're like, oh, crap, like that was a little too, I should have gone a little harder.
Kind of step it up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Here.
So all kinds of different strategy that's coming into play today here at the SCORE Baja 400 qualifying. Brought to you guys live. The K&N brought to you guys by VP Racing Fuel. And we are out in Ojos. We are in San Diego.
I'm not in Ojos.
We're not in Ojos.
You're not in Ojos.
No. But we are watching footage live from Ojos.
Yeah.
So we got 2 drones out there. We have a start line camera, and we're going to be bringing you guys action all day long today. We got the trophy truck specs going right now. We're about halfway through the trophy truck specs, almost halfway maybe. And then we have the trophy truck legends coming up after them. And the next car is on the line. Looks like that is going to be the 200. It looks like I can see a red plate there.
Yeah, I believe that is the 200 George San Pedro. It looks, that is, because, I believe that is a new Mason truck for them.
Okay.
I believe they've raced, I think
it looks like a Mason. It's got a Mason body on it.
Yeah.
And so something new that SCORE's doing, I don't remember if they did it last year or not, but the number plates, if you see a red number plate with a white letter on it, that means that's the class champion from the prior year. So he gets to run the lowest number in the class, which is 200 in this class. So that is the 200 with the red number plate there. So he won the championship last year.
Absolutely. I believe that was, I don't know about you, but I always wanted that 1450 number.
Right?
I always wanted that 1450. Did you?
Yes.
Ooh, cool
I got
guy.
to run it.
I won a championship, and I didn't run it. I stuck with my old number. We had too many T-shirts with the different number on it, so we didn't run it.
Well, that's what makes it nice nowadays. Except for if you're the class champion, your number stays the same in these series. Now, it used to, change, and you'd have to redo your shirts and everything. So you can see that is not Mason Cullen. That is George there, Jorge Sabrino. I'm going to say everyone's name wrong today. You said it good earlier.
San Pedro, I think.
San Pedro? Sure, we'll go with that.
We're not educated. That's why we're here talking about off-road trucks. Are you kidding me?
Right, if we were smart, we wouldn't be doing this.
If we were smart, we'd be in the trucks.
Yeah.
Come on. We're following Mason.
That is Mason Cullen right there. We see the yellow truck, so that is Mason Cullen.
Doing well here. Going quick. Yeah, a lot of opportunity here to step out of those lines and, create a lot of work for your crew guys. It's very important to try and keep it there in that 2-track, especially in that section we were just watching right there. You could very easily, push through that corner, which just, as soon as you kind of bobble one corner, you bobble the next corner, next thing you know, you're in the sticks and you're chasing rocks. So you don't want to do something like that.
Yeah.
But here we got a leaderboard going up here. Travis Williams with that 720. Very impressive run.
Very close. Look at that. 0.4 of a second there, right?
It's cool. And like we talked earlier, how close the spec truck results actually are and how everybody stacks up right there within a minute or two of each other. So a second or two of each other. So very impressive.
And the only truck so far that we did not have show up that was on the list was the 240, Chris Miller. So everyone else on the list has gone so far. Yeah. And we have Charles Durant as our last finisher. We're waiting on a time from Brent Fox. He should be one of the faster ones we're thinking, and he should be the next finishing any second. As I say that, he finishes with a 7:29.
Pretty fast.
0.9. So not the fastest, but top 5 probably or so.
Puts him on the board, so that's good.
So 7:29 for Brent Fox.
Yeah. Now this person to look out for, which is our next truck, will be the 234 of Jason McNeil.
Oh, here we go.
So I mean, I know.
Fast.
Yeah, I know you picked Jurgensen there for your top spot, but I mean, you've got a McNeil here. So.
Oh, he could be the top spot easily. I wouldn't bet against him on it. That's for sure.
And I feel like he just gets faster and faster.
Yeah, the last race we were talking about, he finished 3rd overall, not in the trophy truck spec class overall. Only 2 trophy trucks had a faster time than him, and it wasn't even that much faster.
No.
It was like a few minutes, maybe 20 minutes or something was the first guy. It was not that much faster.
It's all about having that perfect day on the race course.
Yeah.
So.
Well, McNeil, he used to be called McSquirrel.
Yeah.
Was what Pistol would call him when he actually raced with Pistol Pete for a long time.
Yeah.
And he was a little bit of a squirrel back then.
Oh yeah.
He would just drive the thing, just floor it, go everywhere, be out of control, crash, whatever. But if he didn't, he was very fast, which we're seeing now. He's not. He toned it down a little bit. Or got his car control a little bit better, probably.
Or he just found the boundaries.
Yeah.
He just found the boundaries. He was trying to find the boundaries a lot quicker than other people were.
True. And he probably has a much more capable truck now, too.
I would think so, too. Because I think he used to race like a 3-seat where he'd sit in the middle. Like I know
like
Pistol had the same things, And I know him, and I think his cousin has one, too. You sit in the center of the thing with your legs spread all wide, the gas and brake pedal.
Yeah.
You have 2 buddies riding with you out there racing. So, we're kind of in more of a traditional race car now, so the results definitely are showing that.
I didn't really like that setup because you have a tranny between your legs.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And it's very weird.
No, yeah, not interested in that. That's a very scary spinning piece of machinery to be straddling.
Yes.
So
look he's got one spare only. So he did take off one spare for this today. So a little bit lighter.
I've noticed a couple guys have been doing the same thing. So it could be, and you can do the same thing with fuel. You could, obviously, as you're watching here, a little bit more wild than all the other guys going through these sections.
Oh, this is going to be a good one here. Yeah, he's going to be a good one to follow.
If he can keep the tires under himself, man, this should be a good run.
The good thing we have some high-speed drones there because he was going pretty good. So hopefully the second drone will pick him up on the back of the course because that's a good one to watch.
Absolutely.
One of our fastest qualifiers for sure, as long as he has a clean run.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Checkers are wreckers, right?
Yeah, so talking about tires, so there's a couple of things you can do. So for those of you guys at home, we've talked about this before, but changing the rear weight of the vehicle is going to change a lot how the vehicle handles, not just in the bumps, but how it makes traction and how the truck corners and makes the turns and all the stuff you need to do. Having that big pendulum on the back of the truck can either help you or it can limit you around all these corners. So if you have two tires at call it 130, 140 pounds apiece, hanging out the back of that thing, that's a lot of weight that you're sloshing around on top of the fuel. And so pulling some of that off and making some of those changes is going to change the driving dynamic immensely.
Yeah, big difference. Yeah.
So, but a lot of these guys can be playing head games where maybe they got no spares, but they've got a full 100 gallons of fuel.
True, and the fuel sits lower too, right? So that weight sitting lower in the tank is a lot better than the weight of the tire that's up higher.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan. Like when we do, I'm not giving you guys all those secrets, but yes,
don't tell them too much.
Yeah, but yeah, there are some things you can do to make things a little different. But
all right, we have a time for Mason Cullen. It looks like 7:25, 7:69. So 7:25. That's one of the maybe third. Looking real quick at my list, that might be third there. So Mason Cullen in with a good time in the yellow F&L truck. Yeah,
it seems like we've got a 9-second differential. We've got 7:20s and we've got 7:30s, and we've got that kind of seems to be the barrier. Not much slower than a 7:30, but nothing quicker than a 7:20 yet. So we're right
7:20 is the fastest time we have so far.
So you got to think over 5 miles, and we're talking about a 10-second gap. That's pretty impressive between all these guys.
Well, we said a 7:20 so far, but Jason McNeil is on the course right now, right? I would expect him to be under a 7:20 if he has a good run.
7:19.5.
7:19.5?
7:19.5.
You're probably pretty close there. I'm not gonna. I don't even know what to say to that one. You're probably right there.
I think
but if he comes in with a 7:17 or something, I wouldn't be surprised
me
either,
right? Yeah. So as long as he keeps the tires under him, he's going to be in great shape.
Yeah.
So up next here, we've got the 789 at Tanner Rust. Rust & Sons Trucking. They're a local San Diego trucking company, actually.
Okay, is that what it is?
Yeah, you see them running around town. They're a bunch of dirt trucks. They'll be hauling raw materials. It's actually what my dad does. Not for that company, but yeah, they do the same job. Drives the bottom down.
It seems like most off-road racers are in some kind of construction, right? That's construction is one of the big things. A lot of the guys out here are in some kind of construction. We got, Brent Fox is Fox Construction. It says on the side of his truck.
Yep.
Most everybody's in some form of construction, it seems like.
Dudes like being in the dirt, I guess.
Yeah, they're not afraid to get dirty.
Now, something unique, I'm pretty sure that Tanner Rust's truck is actually an EcoBoost.
Okay.
It is not. So you are allowed to run a couple different engines in the spec truck class. The most popular being the LS3, but there is a Ford option that you can run, and I do believe the EcoBoost is what is still in this truck, and it does fit within the rules. So sometimes
the power is pretty close to the same.
Yes, it's very comparable when it comes to like raw horsepower and torque and all that stuff. Now, where you might run into issues with the EcoBoost is that you do have the turbos.
Okay.
So trying to keep those cool, trying to keep it running. The power curve is a little different.
You probably don't have as much torque, right?
Absolutely.
But once it spools up,
yes,
then it's got more.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's driven a turbo car knows that, it's not instant, which is something that you really want when you come to off-road racing. You come in this corner and you want the power when you want the power.
Yeah.
Unless, trying to predict that and trying to build into that, in my opinion, turbos don't really have a place in off-road as of yet until that technology builds up.
Yeah.
Now, a lot can argue, rally and all that stuff, it's all there, but I mean, you're talking all kinds of anti-lag and wild stuff that sure can handle a stage-to-stage rally and it's somewhat of a clean terrain. But when you got these things doing 400 miles, getting literally shaken to death in like a washing machine, it's hard to keep all those components alive.
Yeah, pretty much the only class you do see turbos in is the UTV class, right?
Correct.
The UTV turbos, there is a class for those. There's quite a few of them.
Smaller, lightweight vehicles that aren't as heavily relied on that turbo power. So.
And they're using a different kind of transmission too, so that's CVT transmission, a little different. So there's a look at our current leaderboard. Travis Williams is still on top. We have Elijah Kiger, which was actually Justin Davis driving that truck in second place. And then we have Dustin Swanson, Brent Fox, and EJ Herbst. That is your top 5 as of right now. We do have more than that finished, but that's just a look at your top 5 right now.
Yep. Oh, here it is. Here's one of our favorites. Vince Munoz here, 1450 legend. Still races
fellow
a
1450.
Fellow 1450 legend. Still races a steel cab truck from time to time. I believe they won the Mint 400 in 1450.
Yep.
They're doing great, doing cool things.
Yeah, cool to see him step up to a spec truck, and then
Yeah.
they had a couple different spec trucks, right? Like they had. Is this different than the other one?
So
or
this
they
is the
just changed
same
body
one.
on
So-
it?
yeah, they changed the body. So they crashed this truck pretty bad at the 1,000.
Yep.
They got it back together. They raced San Felipe and broken engine, skipped the 500, and they're here getting ready for the 1,000.
Perfect.
So, but they did. I want to say, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. They ran the entire spec truck series in their 1450 Ranger with the spec motor in it.
That's
on
what I was thinking,
Yes.
because it was the blue truck
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
So that was a very impressive. And I want to say, like, for a while there, they were top 5 in overall points. Not overall, but I'm sorry, in spec truck class points.
Yeah.
In an I-beamed Ford Ranger, like old, like Jeff Falzone giant built stuff. Like, it's pretty impressive.
Because they were just finishing the races, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They were just cruising around, didn't have any problems. Everyone else kind of had issues, and they just kind of finished everything.
Absolutely, and they had ODR shock magic going on and all that stuff, so they were doing cool stuff. But yeah, no, it's always good to see. You know, he's always somebody I root for, as Vince and all those guys. You know, we'll go do races together from time to time. So I love seeing them get that truck back together and out there on the racetrack. I know it's been a hard run of it, getting that thing back up and running again. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely pumped for them. So
Cool.
But yeah, I'm still just waiting for this Jason McNeil time.
I
Is
know.
it up yet?
Well, we have a time that came in, but I don't know if it's correct. We have the George Sempino one, but I think they're going to fix that one in a second because it's a little too low. It says 7-Eleven, but I don't know if that's correct.
That's very impressive if that's right.
Yeah,
That'd be-
we'll check. We'll double check that.
Yeah.
But
We don't wanna make
Jason McNeil should be coming in next.
Yeah.
So anytime now we should have Jason McNeil. And then out on course right now we have Tanner Rust, like you said, and then we just saw Vincent Munoz go off. And then next we're going to have the Ryan Hancock truck on the line right now with Dustin Grabowski driving it.
Who is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Dustin is, the Grabowskis are very fast behind the steering wheel of vehicles, so it's very impressive to see him. You'll remember he normally runs, they have it's like a white Herb Smith truck with checkerboard on it, and they have a big wing on the back, and that truck's just always doing something wild, whether it's, jumping over something it shouldn't be or popping out a big hole, so they definitely know how to kind of balance their composure a little bit, but they're right there on the edge of getting wild. So,
all right, well, that 7-Eleven may be true because we just had a time for Jason McNeil come in, and he's at 7:08.
Oh, okay.
7:08.
My time, I was 11 seconds off.
Yeah. I mean, but that's Jason McNeil, right? We're not surprised to see that. So I think the 7-Eleven by the 200 truck is probably correct then. I mean, they were the class champion last year, too.
Yeah, they might have something figured out.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
All these are unofficial times, obviously, remember. We're just getting what we can see right now. Everything will be confirmed, and then later today there'll be official times released.
Yep, absolutely.
So as of right now, Jason McNeil in with an unofficial 7:08 is your new leader.
Very impressive.
Not surprised to see that.
No, not at all.
And that is the 228 right there. We got Ryan Hancock with Dustin Grabowski. That's going to be another fast guy.
Yeah.
I know we keep saying that, but there is so many fast guys in this class racing this race. There really is. It's stacked.
Yes.
It's a stacked field today.
Yeah. You got to think, this is the qualifier for the biggest race of the year.
Yes.
So it's going to bring everybody
and the
out
biggest
of the
race of
woodwork.
the year in years. Because it's going backwards this
with
year.
a reverse run.
Yeah.
So, which is definitely something, I don't know if we've touched base on that, but this year's Baja 1000 is a peninsula run, but it's a backwards peninsula run. So you will be starting in La Paz and finishing up here in Ensenada. So.
Yeah, that's never been done before. It's pretty cool. You're going to be running it backwards. I know a lot of people, some people like it, some people don't like it, right? Some people like finishing in La Paz and then they're there to hang out for a week and they hang out with the family and they do that. But then you have to make that long drive back home.
Yes,
So this year, you're going to finish and you're almost home.
Yeah, well, your long drive home is just spanned over an off-road race.
Right? Yeah, you're racing on your way home this year. You just have a long drive south.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so here goes Ryan Hancock truck. This is Dustin Grabowski driving. This is going to be a very fast time, too. You see that right there? That looked like the biggest air we've seen, maybe besides Jason McNeil off of there, huh?
Yep. A little bit more composed than Jason's run so far. So, maybe a little more conservative, or maybe even quicker. Who knows? Only time will tell.
That's right. Well, see now, once again, this is not his truck, right? He's a very fast driver. He's not in his truck. He drove this truck last race, and when he got in the truck, I was told that Ryan told him just go. He was like, what do you want me to do? Because they were towards the front. They were questionable. And they're like, what do you want me to do? He's like, just go. So it's like, okay, when the truck owner tells you just go, you're going to go, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Checkers are records. Get that thing to the finish as fast as you can. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's Jordan Poole riding in there with him, who's been around a long time. He had a lot of experience. He runs the program for them. He also co-drives with them. So he's in there today, and that's going to be a good ride with Dustin there.
Lots of seat time in that thing. You know, another team that's just a staple in the sport. You know, they're at every race. You know, they do great stuff. The whole Alexander team is just awesome. It's great to see them succeed and do well.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a look back real quick at the first couple racers that went off the line, and then we'll be back in just a minute. You can see this is the SLR truck off the line next here.
Yeah.
So that is going to be Joe, I believe, in the 205, right? Because before that we had Grabowski in the Hancock truck.
Which, so this is a newer Spencer Lowe racing truck, which is a very impressive chassis. Those guys are knocking out some trucks pretty quick. I think they're on their 4th truck this year already. Really putting hard work in, building a very cool, capable vehicle, and obviously just working the bugs out and get these things up to the top of the box and trying to get them fast. So,
yeah, definitely cool to see more builders coming into the class, you know, mixing it up. You have like a lot of Tisco trucks, you got a lot of Herb Smith trucks in here, you got some Geyser trucks, and now you have, you know, Spencer Lowe's building a new truck, trying to build more. It's good to see different builders come into the class, not just be, you know, the same couple people that are in there.
Yeah, and you know, that's something that's drawn a lot of people to off-road racing, me especially, is the, you know, the unique aspect of these vehicles. You know, it's not a NASCAR where it's all pretty cut and, you know, dry, the same-ish chassis, the same this, same all that. Off-road racing, you know, it's an open book. You can do whatever you want, design it the way you want. Over the last couple of years, things have kind of funneled down to a pretty general shape, you know, and size and configuration and geometries, because that's just what's working. But it is nice to see different twists and different spins on building that same chassis. So.
Yeah. And somebody might get in one chassis, drive it, and then drive another chassis, and they're like, oh, I don't like that chassis. I like the way this one handles way better, right? And then someone else might be the opposite. Just depends on the driver preference and what they like.
You know, somebody might want a shorter truck. You know, somebody might want a longer truck, might want weight in different places. It all just depends on how you want to, you know, manipulate that vehicle around the racetrack from this driver's seat.
So we do have another time come in. We have Tanner Rust came in with a 7:59.4. So 7:59 for Tanner Rust. Before that, we had Jason McNeil, who is still our current leader with a blistering fast time of 7:08, which still super fast. The next closest person was the 200, Sam Cimitero with 7:11, so only 3 seconds behind. But then there was a big gap because it was like 7:20.
Yeah.
So we had 7:08, 7:11, and then 7:20.
But we are talking about the guy that got 3rd overall at the 500, and we're talking about last year's point champion. So, I mean, you got to think those guys are on a completely different level when it comes to driving these trucks around these racetracks, and it very well could be a 10, 15-second differential there.
Definitely.
So it's definitely not something to, you know, bat an eye at.
So next we have Vincent Munoz, who we were talking about earlier. He just came in with an 8:08. So 8:08 for Vince. Not a horrible time, not super fast, but that's kind of where Vince is, right? He doesn't usually qualify towards the front. He's in the middle-ish pack, and then he'll finish in the middle to wherever, you know.
He's just there all day long.
Just constant.
Consistent driver. Yeah, absolutely. The next truck we got stacked up here is the 247 of Scott Shields. Some local San Diego guys, him and his brother have been racing. They raced a Truggy for a long time. They've been a part of just about everybody's off-road team that you could think of, whether it comes to dumping fuel or changing tires. Two great, funny dudes. Scott Shields, two of the probably tallest dudes I've ever met in my life. Giant.
Met Harley Letner and Kevin Thompson.
Same size.
Same size as
Same
them?
size,
Okay,
yeah.
so they're big.
They're large gentlemen, yeah.
Yeah.
They're racing here in an Illumicraft truck. Illumicraft known for their dune buggies. I call them dune buggies, but you know, Class 10 cars, Class 1 cars.
Dune Skipper?
Yeah, old dune skippers. This is one of the John Cooley's trucks. I was very excited when these trucks came about because of the success that John had in Class 10 and in Class 1. And for him to step into another form of spec truck or spec off-road racing, I was like, oh, this is going to be the ticket. I believe there's like 2 or 3 of these trucks out in the field today. They're good competitive trucks, just haven't put together like that perfect run yet to put them at the top. But that's not to say it's not an option. It's not that it's not going to be there at some point. But
for sure. And you see, they did the same thing. They had one spare, it looked like, so they took off one. Seems to be a pretty common. A lot of people are just running one spare today, huh?
It could be a monkey see, monkey do situation.
It could.
The first guy took a spare off, take it off.
Yeah.
We've never tested with one spare. Take it off anyways. He's doing it.
Right. So how many gallons do you think most of these guys are running with today? It's a 5.29 mile course. How many gallons do you like? What would you guys run? Because you don't want to run out.
Yeah.
And you don't want too little weight in the back or the truck might act weird.
So unfortunately, like a lot of these trucks, when they get down into that, like, so say other forms of racing, you're going to want to like, okay, we've got 5 miles, we get 2 miles to the gallon, we're going to put 12 gallons in this truck.
Yeah,
you're
just
not,
enough.
Yeah, you're not going to want to do that in an off-road truck.
Yeah.
These off-road trucks start getting skatey and weird and don't make traction, and like you lose a lot of confidence when the fuel gets that low.
Yep.
And that's something that comes into play during the race as well. So planning your pits and all that stuff, you know, maybe you don't want to run that truck all the way to empty before you fill up. You're going to want to maybe keep that truck at a nice balanced weight. So most people, in my opinion, would probably be running about a half tank of fuel,
which is about
call it 45,
gallons?
50 gallons.
Okay.
You know, because most of these guys will run just shy of 100 gallons of fuel is what I would hope you're running to be able to run these races with the pit strategies you need.
Especially in Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. So I would think a half tank of fuel, maybe one spare. You might be in a good position there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and fuel, I mean, fuel is, what's it, 7 pounds a gallon?
Correct.
So you're not talking that much weight on these trucks. It's not like a go-kart or something where like a pound or two makes a difference.
No,
I mean, 50 pounds of weight you're never going to notice on these trucks, right?
No, absolutely
like, you wouldn't even know the difference.
Yeah, so it's, you got, most of these trucks are upwards of 6,000 pounds race weight, ready to go. You know, some a little more, some a little less. I believe the Herps are like 58 something race ready.
Yeah.
So yeah, fluctuating that weight isn't going to be, you know, make or break for them, but it does change the handling characteristics just enough, you know, that could make you that much quicker.
Yeah.
Or could, you know, put you in a ditch. So
Definitely. All right, so we have another time just came in. Ryan Hancock here with Dustin Grabowski, 7:12.
Oh, so okay.
There we go. See, Dustin's fast, right?
Super fast.
So obviously Ryan told him, just go for it.
Yeah, let her eat, brother.
Just go for it. So 7:12, I believe that is the third fastest time so far. So
I'd have to say so
7:12.
too. We just saw there.
5.66.
Yeah, we just saw the 295 of William Hendrick Jr. go off the line. No, I don't know much about that truck. I don't know much about that team. HRT, I believe they had some good success, I think 2 or 3 years ago.
I'm not super familiar with them either, yeah.
I just remember it because I always think of HRT like Hot Rod Todd, like the Arthurs.
Okay.
So I always remember that truck.
Yeah, and it's not the same. It's not the same.
No,
people,
absolutely not. Completely different team of people. So
yeah.
But no, that's very impressive if you really think like that's a big time differential between these two guys, like between all these guys. Like
it is, right?
Those top 3 trucks are what, 10 seconds?
Almost 8 seconds.
Yeah.
8 to 10 seconds, 8 to 12 seconds, whatever, from where like the majority is. But if you look at the results, like we were talking about, it kind of matches that, right?
True.
Because the top few trucks will be really close, and then there is like a bit of a gap usually back to the next group. There's a bunch of different groups in the class.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's basically become the two-wheel drive trophy truck class of 10 years ago is now the spec truck class of today.
Oh, absolutely. A spec truck today would drive circles around a 10-year-old trophy truck, in my opinion. But yes,
right?
it's that same thing. Like that is like, it's cool to see the competitiveness and see how consistent all these guys are with each other.
And you know, the price of these trucks nowadays is gone way up too. I mean, a spec truck is $500,000 now for one of the top spec trucks, right?
Yeah.
From multiple different builders. So $500,000 years ago, you were getting a Geyser trophy truck for $300,000.
Yeah.
Ready to go, like Pistol Pete's or one of those original ones, 300 grand, and you have a trophy truck all day. Now you're getting a trophy truck and you're spending $1 million on a trophy truck. You know, so it's tripled in price from 10 years ago.
Yeah, and that's something we talk about too when we were talking earlier about, you know, sure you can go buy the truck, but it's buying the whole program. Because you can't just get a truck and be done. No, you need chase trucks. You need pre-runners. You need crew guys. You need the facility to manage all of this, or the means to pay somebody to manage all of it for you. So it's astronomical what it takes to run these vehicles these days, and the amount of effort that goes into it. Because it's not, you know, it's not an arrive on Saturday and go racing and go home kind of thing. Like a lot of these guys have been down here for a week plus doing their pre-running, doing their notes. You know, they're testing weeks even before that back here stateside. So, you know, it's, you know, you're working all day, all night long on these things. So,
all right, we got another time for the 205. Joe, he was in with 747.563. So 747 for the 205. And then we can see this is Santiago Creel here on the line, number 260.
Yep.
He is going to be next off the line.
I'm seeing more and more Starlinks on the roofs of these things.
Almost everybody, it seems like, has them now, right?
I'm behind the times. I got to cut a hole in a steel roof to put one of those in. Are you kidding me? You know how much work that's going to be?
Just put it off the back somewhere. Put it right behind the cab, maybe.
I'll put it in the wing, maybe. We'll see.
So for those of you that are wondering, that thing on the middle, the center of the roof is actually a Starlink. That looks like a star mount right there because I have the same one. So they've converted it to a flat mount. Sits on the roof. You can actually have data acquisition. You can have live in-car cameras. You can have pretty much anything that you have internet with. And they actually work really well while you're moving still. You know, you can go up to 100 miles an hour, and then it shuts off because Starlink has a speed set at that to shut off. But you know, it's pretty rad. Your engine builder can be sitting at home or at his office, and he can tune your engine on the fly if he wanted to. He can be watching and like, oh, they're having like this doesn't look right. He can make adjustments. Your crew can be in the pits. They can watch and see what's going on. They can know if you have a tire going down because if you have your tire sensors, you know, in the data center, they can see that. And they know like, oh, he's coming in. We're going to have to change the right rear. It's going low. So it's definitely a big game changer for off-road racing.
Absolutely. You know, and a lot of people at home are probably thinking like, oh, well, that's not a new thing. Like Formula One's been doing it forever, and all these other forms of racing have been doing it. But for off-road, this is very, very new. You know, for us, we've always been kind of behind the times when it comes to technology, you know, kind of Wild West style, you know, get out
we're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
The difference,
that
right?
too,
like a Formula One race, you have cell phone service around the whole track, right? Like here, there's no cell phone service at Ojos where this is, right? Like you only have cellular or satellite anything here, you know. In the middle of Baja, there's nothing.
So has the Starlink kind of killed the sat phone?
No, not necessarily, because it's kind of a different use. It has definitely somewhat, because now your chase crew is sitting in the pit and they have perfect service, right? So they're just using their regular cell phone connected to the Wi-Fi now, and they can text, they can watch the tracker. They're watching us right now. You know, like anybody sitting there with their Starlink is watching us right now to see what's going on the course. So it definitely is cool for the pits. Every single chase truck has a Starlink. Now, if you don't, you should.
Just think you could like post on Instagram and everything while you're out there racing,
right?
Hanging out.
Yeah.
Holy smokes!
If you break down, if your truck breaks in the middle of nowhere, you can go watch Netflix or whatever else you want to watch.
You can watch that Chris Fix guy on YouTube. All right, guys, here's how you fix an underdrive.
Yeah, you can literally watch a YouTube video on how to fix something, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is who do we have next here? It looks like the 280. Is it 280? Brian looks like going to be next. Schaubel?
We were discussing at the beginning of this how to pronounce his last name, so we apologize. Yeah. Like I said, not the most educated dudes up here, but hey, we're here. We're
here. Say the
here.
first name right. It's Brian.
Yeah, that's it.
This is Brian in the 280 that's on the line next. It's a Brenthal built truck. You can tell by looking at the front bumper balance.
Dead giveaway.
Dead giveaway.
Dead giveaway.
Now, Brenthals, there's a lot of those out there, right? And they're one of the people that has the Arrive and Drive program. So if you guys are watching this right now and you're like, I want to go do that, you can literally do that. That might even be Arrive and Drive driver right there. I'm not sure. But they have several that show up, you pay, they take care of everything. You show up to the race car's ready to go, they take care of all of your pits, everything is ready to go. You can come out and you can race the Baja 400, you can race the Baja 1000. It's going to cost you some money, but you can do it if you want to.
It's going to cost you a lot less money to do it that way, to test it out, see if it's something you really want to do, than it would cost for you to go buy a truck, buy a chase truck, buy the fuel, buy the this, buy the that.
Right.
Because it's not just the truck that you arrive and drive. They've got the chase crews, the pit stops, everything set up for you. So you're literally just getting in the car and driving. So
and you might not like it, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have to invest all of that money and everything else to do it.
Could you imagine waiting the 1 year build time, all this crazy stuff, doing all these wild things, and be like, this ain't for me. Like, this isn't something I like. And then trying to sell it for pennies on the dollar from what you paid. Like, oof, rough. So
I think we have a couple clips that we're seeing on the social channel that we're going to put up. It looks like Jason McNeil and maybe one of the Herps. So here's a couple clips. You see that? That was that first jump we were watching earlier. Yep. That was McNeil that went off of that, it looks like. So the blue Fiberworks truck.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so that's right off the start. So that's that really fast section. There's one of the Herps trucks there, same section.
Like we were talking about earlier, we're going to call that one of the Herps trucks.
One of the Herps trucks.
It's hard to keep them all.
The 219, I can see that because that's a clear picture there.
So the 219 will be Thor Herps.
Yep.
It's just another Herps truck here. So this would be Ryan Millen, I'm assuming.
Oh, it's the same one playing again.
Oh my God. We're on loop.
We're on loop.
We're on loop.
All right, so we'll be going back live in a second here. There we go.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
So on track right now, we have Scott Shields just came in with an 8-minute flat. So 8 minutes for Scott Shields. If you guys are watching for the 247, it was 8 flat. And then after him, we had William Hendrick come in, the HRT truck, with a 733.
Okay.
So right back,
right there in that mid-pack.
Right in the mid-pack where everybody was at.
It seems to be like the average time is right there in that 730 range, like high 720s, like low 730s. So that kind of seems to be the standard pace for this qualifier. Obviously, we've got a couple wild guys out there putting down some heaters of laps, but.
So at the top, if you guys are just tuning in, we still have Jason McNeil, who is our leader, correct? We have him with the 719, or sorry, 708. And then we had the number 200, Jorge with the 711. And then we had, after that, who did we have after that? I got lost on my list here. That's your top two.
Yeah,
so
there's your top
two so far.
We looked through your list. Yeah,
we can probably put the leaderboard back up in a second and show you guys. But we got Jason McNeil as your top qualifier so far with a 7:08, and that's going to be a very fast time to try and beat today.
Insanely fast.
Very fast. Who do we have next here?
Judging by our list here, we've got the 231 of Carlos Ramos Murillo in an Armada truck. Yeah, there it is. So, again, somebody I'm not very...
it's a different truck builder, right? We haven't seen any of the Armada trucks yet today.
No, this will be the first Armada truck. So something unique about these trucks is that they are mid-cell trucks. They have a different rear suspension design. They're more of a lighter weight vehicle. You know, they're probably in the mid-5s versus the low 6s.
Yep.
Same tire size, same engine, same underdrives, same transmissions, all that stuff, but just kind of configured a little differently. So if you look at like a standard 4-link suspension, this might be a little too involved, but if the rear axle's here and you've got 2 straight links, usually the upper 3 links will meet at the center of the differential housing. The Armada trucks run that backwards, kind of in their theories to help cornering and a little bit more control. You'll see that a lot in short course.
Yep.
So it'll go from center of chassis to outside of axle housing. And it still triangulates, it still cycles properly, it just kind of loads the chassis a little differently, which comes into play because they have their fuel in a different spot. The fuel is in the center of the truck versus behind the axle. And so it kind of maybe controls that truck a little bit differently going through the corners versus using that pendulum weight to swing the thing around. So
yeah, so a different theory when it came to setup.
Yep.
Do people like it? Some people probably like it. Some people probably think it's backwards.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
All about the driver, right? If you could drive the thing and make it work the way it is, then it's fast.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, it just takes the right person behind the steering wheel. I mean, Jerry Welchel was very successful driving the Armada trucks back in the day, and you know, he did very well with that. And so
I think Jerry Welchel could drive just about anything, though.
Yeah, with no shoulder straps on.
Yes,
the whole
no
time.
shoulder straps.
Terrifying man to ride in a car with, I'll tell you what. Okay, I lied. 2 people. I rode with Welchel a couple times too. That guy was pretty scary.
Yeah, that guy could definitely wheel a car.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be interesting to see him in a trophy truck spec.
Yeah.
You know, to see how
he would probably do very well in a spec truck,
definitely.
honestly. Just understanding how to push those vehicles to their absolute limits and keep them there. So
we haven't got another time yet. We had William Hendrick last. So then Santiago Creel should be the next time we're waiting for right now. Out on course is Brian, and there's Santiago Creel right now. So 7:53 for Santiago.
Okay. So it seems like we've got 3 packs building up now. We've got these top 5, we're going to call it, because I guarantee by the end of the day we'll have 5-ish guys in those.
Around the 7:10-ish.
Yeah, and then we're going to have that mid, more of the average speed of the 730s, and we got guys touching on the 8s.
Yep.
And now those guys touching on the 8s, there's 2 things that could be going on. Either, they're trying to play it safe, keep the car together, that's just the pace they want to be at all day long, or issues on the track. Whether they missed a corner, they got stuck, maybe they got a flat. Because on situations like this, if you get a flat later on in the lap, you're not getting out to change it. you're going to drive that thing in on that flat tire. So,
or they're just slow.
Or they're just slow. I'm not going to say that. These are my peers. You get to say that. I'm not saying it. You guys aren't slow. You're all winners in my book.
You know,
You're
maybe
all
they're
winners.
on purpose going slow. I didn't, you know, maybe not. Yeah. Not everybody can be fast, right?
True.
They all think they are, but the times don't lie.
Yeah. So here's the 727. So this will be a Grabowski truck. This is the Grabowski truck that we are all, you know, known and accustomed to out racing, getting wild and all that stuff.
It has bedsides.
It does have bedsides now. We'll see where those things
see
last.
At the end.
See if they even make it through qualifying.
Yeah. You think they brought 2 sets of bedsides?
I don't know. Yeah. No comment. So this
you can see the wing on the back, right? That's totally noticeable from every other truck. That looks totally different. So obviously they have some aero package going on that they're working on in the back of the truck.
Big sprint car guys, actually. Big circle track racing guys. They do all kinds of stuff like that. So there's 3 brothers. There's Jack, Dustin, and I feel like a jerk because I can't remember the third brother's name, but there's 3 of them anyways. And, you know, they do really well. It's funny, like, the truck is just as quick whichever one's driving.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool scenario knowing that, you know, your entire team of drivers is just as competitive.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah, it's the last name. Anybody with that, doesn't matter who it is. They're all just fast. Right?
Is it Rusty? Maybe it's, I can't remember what it is. Now I feel like a jerk. I'm going to have to look on the internet here. As soon as this camera goes away, I'm going to look up the other Grabowski brother. I feel bad about that. But yeah, you know, that's another truck, you know. I'm more vast in the vehicles themselves. They've put so much testing time into these cars, and that's what it takes to get these vehicles to that next level, is putting in your homework and putting in your time driving these vehicles and making the tweaks and the adjustments and customizing them to your driving style and the courses that you're going to.
Yeah. Troy is the other one.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, got it, Troy. Yeah. So anyways, you know, it's not like baseball, you know, where it's like you practice. You know, yourself needs to be quick, but you also need to make sure that vehicle is fine-tuned to what you're doing and making it quick. So,
yeah,
you know, 2 guys could buy Herbst trucks and they could be the exact same setups from the showroom floor, but straight out of Herbst. But one guy, you know, putting all those hours and the time into tweaking and changing and tuning it to your liking is going to definitely show in the results at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. So on course right now, we are still waiting for the time for the 280. Should be coming in any second, and then we have the 231. And then we have Grabowski that we just saw. That was Jack Grabowski that went out. And those are the 3 that were on course right now.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to put money, I'm going to put him at the top of the mid-pack.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we have the top 5 we can show you guys. Here's the top 5 so far. So you can see those top 3 are really kind of separated, right? Like 8 seconds is a pretty big gap, and there's only 3 seconds or 4 seconds between those top 3.
Yeah.
So
it's impressive.
Definitely some fast guys at the top of the pack there, but no surprise to see any of those names up there.
No, I mean that's the field you expect to see up there. You know, we'll probably see a Grabowski, another Grabowski up there, and then like you said, you know, a Jurgensen.
Yep.
So
Jurgensen's going to the top.
You think?
I'm just telling you. We'll see.
I don't know.
Unless I jinxed him. The announcer jinxed, right?
Way
You're going to crash now?
Way
I feel bad.
Yeah. It's all on fish here. It's live. You're watching it.
Here we go. Here's the MC painting truck. So these guys haven't been racing too much lately.
No.
They've this is a Mason truck. They've had it, you know, I think they have 2 of them actually, right?
Yeah.
So they have I think they have a blue one and then a red one, kind of different colors, but same kind of trucks. Good to see them back out racing again.
Yeah, absolutely. Great team. You know, it's good to see consistency in this and seeing these guys back out here doing it again. So
it's Damon Lewis is the driver of record, and also, according to our list, who is in the qualifying today. So there goes Damon Lewis in the 281. He had both spares, so he's not going with the 1 spare theory.
He's going for traction.
He is, I guess, yeah.
Going to hook that thing up and
maybe
move
has
forward.
a full tank of fuel, too.
Holy
100 gallons.
Yeah. Now, those Mason trucks, you'll see they are a little bit larger vehicles. They're a little bit longer, a little bit bigger. It's definitely something that helps you in the big desert races and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much qualifying because you're trying to maneuver this big, heavy truck around through stuff. But, you know, that's not to, you know, downplay it at all because we've seen plenty of guys do great in a big Mason truck. Most of the all-wheel drive trucks we're going to see later today in the trophy trucks are Masons.
Yep.
So that's kind of where those trucks shine.
Yeah, I think there is the one, the Geyser that has 2 engines in it that we're going to see later today.
Yeah.
That's a little interesting, huh?
Yeah.
And none of these guys have 2 engines. You're not allowed to.
No. 2 engines is wild. If you ever get an opportunity to go look at that truck, the Clyde Stacy truck,
yeah, you'll see
truck,
you'll see it later. It's the number 5. It'll be coming up in the trophy truck class later.
It literally has 2 engines, 2 transmissions, 2 starters, 2 drive lines, 2 of everything. I mean, from the outside, it just looks like a standard truck.
It has 2 people in it, too.
And 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where they package all that stuff is too much for me to wrap my brain around. Can you imagine wiring that, plumbing it? it's 2 separate engine management systems, 2 different Motecs, 2 different keypads. You start one and then you start the next one. Like,
yeah, that's
how
definitely
do
there's
you
a lot
fuel all
going
that?
on there.
It's impressive.
All right, here's our next trophy truck spec truck. This is going to be the let's see, is it the
211
Pat Sims?
Yeah, but I
211
believe
Pat
Tim
Sims.
Wilson is driving.
There you go. So Tim Wilson is qualifying the Pat Sims truck. Pat Sims is a character.
Yes.
If you have never met Pat Sims, go meet him sometime.
Yeah.
Go have a drink with him or something. He's a lot of fun. Pat Sims is definitely a character.
Yeah. Finish line of Vegas to Reno a couple of years ago. I got a nice, good, long talk with the guy. Great dude. Absolutely great dude.
Does that left rear tire look a little low, or is it just the camera angle?
I think it's a camera angle because this is the 3rd truck. I wasn't going to say anything.
Did
but
the other ones look like that too?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm thinking maybe.
Must be where they're pulled up or something on the side of a berm or something.
Yeah, it might be a little rise right there or something. But
So they should be going off any second. Now, a lot of these guys, this race, you're not going to, you probably will need your light bars this race. So you see that on the roof right now, they don't have any lights up there. Obviously, you wouldn't want to run those for qualifying because it'll slow you down. But then at your pit stop, you're probably putting a roof light bar on there later, right? And most of those are pretty quick nowadays, a couple seconds to put it on, just a quick disconnect on the power, and then you're good to go.
absolutely.
And you see, they actually have the lights behind the cab. You see that? It's real hard to see, but right behind the flag, above the number, when the flag moves, they have them. I like that right there. You could really see out the side of the truck, so it's a real good spot. See that light right there?
Yep, we do that same thing on our trucks, too.
That's a good spot for it, huh? You don't see it on all the trucks. I don't know why. Like, that's a...
Giving our secrets away, dude.
I know. I've just seen it there, noticing it.
Yeah, we call them ditch. We call them ditch lights. So it's when you're racing and you're in the driving seat, you got that light lighting up everything off to your left, and so you can see the alternate lines and see options and where to go. So it's definitely it comes into play a lot.
There we go, off the line over that first jump. Here's the hill that we saw on the social video earlier, right here, the little jump.
Getting a little loose
air,
there.
Little air. Then down the straightaway and over the second little jump, right at the bottom. Then into the corner. Now here's where someone messed up earlier. Remember, they didn't remember which way to go there. They're like, oh, we go right or left.
Yep, that's it.
It's kind of getting burned in now, so it's probably a little bit clearer that you stay to the left. And if you were doing your job when you were pre-running, you would be marking that stay left too. So here's a look at these corners. And we do have another time here. We got Carlos Ramos in with, let's see, the 231. He came in with an 805. So 805. 805.957. That's for the 231. So the next time we'll have coming in will be Jack Grabowski. This is the Sims truck. Once again, another truck that's easy to spot because it's yellow, so it stands out. We appreciate that when we're watching these streams, right?
Yep. Easy to recognize.
Easy to see who it is. We do have a couple late entries that we will be sending out a little bit later too. We have 33 on our list, but there is actually 36 that are going to go today. So we'll have 36 of these spec trophy trucks going today.
That's a brave flagman right there. Trying to whoa these guys up after they're running that big long straight right there.
Yeah, that's that 180 right? You got to go all the way around on that corner. That is not a fast corner.
Yeah. A lot of potential for hiccup right there.
So the drone's coming to find him once again. They're going a little too fast for him here.
Maybe he's our new top qualifier.
Maybe, huh?
Maybe
it's
just too fast for the drone.
Right?
Too fast for technology.
There we go. The drone's back on him, so we're back.
Regular old John Connor out there, outrunning the AI, huh? Look at him go.
Pat Sims truck with Tim Wilson driving right there. That is the 211, as you can see. Making their way through this 5.29 qualifier course today. So far, our lead time is Jason McNeil with a 7:08. So that is the time all these guys are going to be. I almost thought he was going to be our guy.
I don't want to use the word hoping, but you're sitting there waiting for that, aren't you?
I was watching. I'll say that. It got a little squirrely. I thought he might have been the one, but he saved it there, so good save there. What do we got there? We got the 244 lined up next.
Yeah, next up here.
And they're off. They're actually not on our list, huh? So we got 244. I think that's Oliver Flemente.
Oh, potentially, yeah.
Right? That's
that
what
would
it
make
said
sense.
on the side
yeah.
of the truck,
Yeah.
so I believe that's who it is. So that's a late entry possibly, or it wasn't on our list. So
I believe
Oliver,
that's a newer Tisco truck as well. So
Yeah,
there
there we go.
is
Got
a
him on
new revision of the Tisco chassis, and I believe he is one of the people who have one of those. So
Yeah.
good to see that thing out and going. I know the spares are a little bit lower, fuel's in a little bit of a different spot. So obviously, you build enough of these trucks and you get them out racing, you collect all the data from all the different types of drivers, and as a chassis builder, you can make those adjustments and, make the perfect vehicle.
Yep, exactly. And he also has a Class 11, and he has like 3 or 4 different class vehicles that he races in the race. Kind of like what Clyde Stacy used to
Sure.
do, where he'd had his name on a bunch and he would get in and drive a section in each. Oliver's been doing that. I know he has at least a Class 11 and one other class that they race.
Sounds like we should be friends with this guy.
Right? Maybe we could race one of them for him.
Yeah. You let us know. You want us to drive that 11 car?
Yeah, exactly.
You wait and see.
There's no Class 11s qualifying today,
No.
unfortunately. I think they should add the Class 11s to qualifying personally, because that would be pretty cool to see them.
Absolutely.
Another extra day,
Yeah.
Although probably a lot of the Class 11s are still preparing the car for the race because they have 2 days to go before the race.
True.
So they're
True.
probably still prepping most of the Class 11s.
Still trying to hammer out the fenders and straighten things out.
Yeah.
Full steel cars. What an
All right,
impressive class.
We have a time for Jack Grabowski here, 7:26.859.
Yeah, right there in the middle of that pack.
So 7:26, and that is what we believe their second truck, right? So
Correct.
that was most likely their safe truck, or maybe not, because the other truck didn't really have too great of a run either, right?
Unless they had an issue.
They must have
Marcel
had
may
an
have
issue,
had an
yeah,
issue.
because they were 8:21. So that's going to be their first truck is the Jack Grabowski. They're going to be starting first. It was a Mike Marcel, Jack Grabowski. We believe they're teamed up.
Yeah.
With those two
I
trucks.
do believe that is the scenario.
Here's another Herbst truck on the line. The other ones have already gone, so
Yeah.
there's only one left, right?
Uh-oh, we got an upside down
Oh, there we
truck.
go. We got a rollover. All right, so that looks like, who is that? Is that Damon Lewis? No, it's not
That's
Damon Lewis.
Fuentes?
Flemente?
Flemente, sorry.
Must be Flemente, right?
Kind of looks like it. If we can get that drone over top, we'd be in business. It looks like it. The
Oh,
spares
that's
in the
that.
right
That's
spot.
that corner they were trying to slow everybody down for.
Yeah.
The hard 180.
I wonder if we got that on camera.
Yeah, they might have. But to go back and check the footage, they might have got that because that was where that drone was filming all day.
Well, this is going to put a little bit of a hiccup into the situation. So
here we go. They're gonna stop the cars at the start right now, obviously. So they're not gonna let the next car go. They're gonna have to. Luckily, they have some recovery vehicles right there,
Right
right?
there.
So
Yep.
this might not take too long. They just got to get a rope on it, and get it pulled back over.
Yep, and
then
all
they'll
4
be going
tires and
again.
wheels are attached, so that's a good thing. So hopefully it's just a tip over, let the oil drain down, and fire back up.
Yeah, I wonder if it even went all the way over, or if it just went up on the side.
Probably up on its side. Probably biked around that corner and set it right on
Yeah, that
over.
side looks pretty clean still,
Yep.
right? I don't even think it went all the way over. It went a quarter way up.
Oh, we're going to have to stop that guy.
So yeah, he's gonna get a rerun. So that is that is Jordan Dean driving right there.
Yeah.
It's actually, I thought it was James Dean. So, or James Dean is in the that's
Trophy
what it is,
truck.
the trophy truck.
Yeah, Jordan Dean's the kid, the son.
So Jordan Dean
Yeah.
is driving that Herbst truck there, and then James Dean we're going to see later in the Tim Herbst
Yeah.
entry truck.
Dean boys are quick too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is Flemente there. Looks like they're both okay, so that's good. Getting out of the car.
Well, you know what? At least they got it out of the way.
Right? They got it out of the way.
Right, got the tip over out of the way.
They're going to be starting in the back. They're going to start in the back tomorrow. They will
Unfortunately.
start ahead of anybody that didn't qualify. So that's
Yeah.
how that works. If you qualify and you DNF qualifying, you will still start in front of anybody that didn't qualify.
Okay.
I think almost everybody's qualifying today, it looks like, according to
Yeah.
our list. I didn't
Would
see
make-
anybody that said no, but you never
makes
know.
sense too. Yeah.
So this is Ethan Hagel here. So he's going to be the 246.
Yeah, I believe Ben Hagel is driving.
It's his brother, right?
Yes.
The brothers?
Yep.
So Ethan and Ben.
This is a GFO prep truck. Seth and Danny over there do a great job. We remember them from 1450 days.
Yeah, more 1450 guys, right?
Yeah.
1450 guys are just taking over off-road.
That's it. Yeah, look out, world. We're coming for you. GFO prepped truck here. I think it's tuned by KDM Shock Technologies, Keith. Another Alumacraft chassis we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
I do believe they have another truck in the works getting built, so it's cool to see them up there and doing that. Tons of success in Class 10. It seems to be a pretty common trend, Class 10 seems to be the stepping stone into spec truck for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
You have a good run in Class 10, you kind of maybe see the limits of that class and you're ready for the next move, and spec truck is where it's at.
So there you can see that is the Herbst truck there with Jordan Dean driving. They've been stopped. They will get a re-rack. They'll get a chance to come back. The truck that flipped over will not, because that's their own fault, right? So that is their time. Their time is still ticking.
Yep.
The time for that second truck right there at the bottom is stopped. This
Yep.
will not count. They'll get to come back, and they'll put them back at the end of the pack most likely, because there's only a couple trucks left.
Which could be a benefit.
Could be, because now they get to go another 10 trucks farther back, right?
Yeah, and they ran that section one more time more than anybody else.
Correct. They got to see that first mile, or however 2 miles to where that happened. They got to see that another time.
Yeah.
So they'll get sent back. Most likely, they'll probably just complete the course, unless there's a faster way to get back to the start.
If it was me, I would complete the course,
right?
for
If they let you, because then you get to see the whole course again, right?
100%.
Yeah. So depending on how easy it is to get back to the start, they'll have to. It might take them a couple minutes to get back there, and then they'll re-rack. So we're on a pause right now. The track is red flagged.
Yep.
We have a rollover in a 180-degree turn.
Yeah. We were just talking about that.
We were. You're going fast into it, and they're trying to slow everybody up. Yeah. Obviously, they didn't slow them up enough.
We could all be hypothetical here. It's probably just, rip it around a little too hard, catch the edge, tip it over, put it up on the bike, something like that. But, obviously not a big dramatic crash. So even if we have the footage, it's probably going to be
just like that.
Yeah, some little tip over, some tough truck special,
right?
Tipping it over in the U-turn. So
yeah.
But yeah, very unfortunate thing. It's a bummer. It puts a damper on your start for the day on Saturday, but it's okay. It's a 400-mile race, and most of these guys, yes, this race is important, but what's most important is the Baja 1000. So having a good finish on Saturday is what you're really looking for.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they'll be in the back now, but anything can happen. There's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
And like you said, they're just trying to get a start spot for the Baja 1000.
Absolutely.
So Jordan Dean will be sent back to the front. Then Ethan Hagel truck with Ben Hagel driving, like you said, will be next. Once they get the course clear, they will let them go. And then after that, we'll have about 10 more trucks, maybe 8 more trucks go. And then that'll be the end of the Trophy Truck Specs, and we'll be moving on to the Trophy Trucks and the Trophy Truck Legends. Both of them will qualify together today on the same course. They will all get to go out and do a sight lap. They did not do the sight lap earlier, so they will go out and do their sight lap, mark the course. That'll take probably about an hour and a half just for that to go.
Yeah.
So there will be a little bit of a gap in between the classes for us, and then we'll come back and we'll have the trophy trucks later. But we still have a few more trophy truck specs to go. Ethan Hagel, Ben Hagel, you can see sitting on the start line here. They're just waiting for the course to be cleared. So far, we can probably bring up the leaderboard again in a minute here for you guys. But we have Jason McNeil, who is still number 1. We had the class champion, the 200 car, sitting at number 2. Jason had a 7:08, and then we had the 7:11 was in second place. That was your top 2. Then we kind of had a little bit of a gap back to another group. We had Justin Davis had a good time, 7:20. Travis Williams, a 7:20, both common times. Lots of 7:20s. Mason Cullen was a 7:25.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much faster the trophy trucks are going to be than these later. Probably at least, they're going to be a big
They'll be in the 6s for
right?
sure.
In the 6s for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
but not.
Like low 6s, I would think.
You think?
Maybe.
You think a 5?
Maybe like a 6:20 or something. I don't think anyone's going to get the 5s. A whole minute faster? Maybe. Well, honestly, I don't know.
It's going to be tough to see.
It's going to be tough, yeah. So we're getting them flipped back over here. Taking a little longer. Seems like I got a lot of people there. Just push that thing over, right?
Yeah.
Push it over. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yank that thing over.
Yeah.
We're trying to yank it over with a UTV. I'm not sure if that's exactly the best idea or not.
But we're here for it.
But it could get exciting.
Yeah.
Either way.
Hopefully this camera stays live. We can see this unfold. If not, Fish and I are on the way. We're down there. We're tip this thing over.
Perfect. All right, we'll watch this for a second, and then if it's going to take them a minute, we might go to a commercial. But let's watch this and see what we got going on here. So they're going to hook it up. If it was me, I'd just put it right on the trailing arm there, probably.
Yep. Give it a good old yank.
Give it a yank over. Get back in and go finish your lap and get out of the way for everybody else to go.
I'm a big fan of the holographic wrap on the side of that thing, like that kind of rainbowy sparkle. That's pretty solid.
It definitely stands out.
Yeah. So there we go. Now we got the good old-fashioned push going on. Maybe not.
Did they hear me?
Maybe they did. Maybe they're listening.
See, they're listening. That's what I said I would have done.
That's a whole lot of truck to tip over.
I don't know if they're going to make it.
No,
They don't got as many
so.
people as I think, huh?
Where's the pole? Where's the over-under? Are they going to get it over? Don't let it go the rest of the way.
If they get it up on the tire, they're good.
Nope.
They're like, almost had it.
Nope. Just
One
don't let
more
it
big
fall
one.
on them.
Nope.
You got to hook a strap to it and
Not
push
quite enough
it.
people. Yeah, do both at the same time. I think they're worried because they can't pull it straight over because the bushes are there. Like I think if they pull it's going to yank it. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. It's already scratched up.
It's not going to go.
They're gonna give it one more shot.
Oh, unless they're turning it. Yeah.
They could turn it too. If the front comes around, that's not a bad thing because then they can pull it over easier, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're thinking now. So here we go. Yeah, see, they're trying to scoot the front over maybe. Get everybody to the front. That's what he's saying. He's like, come here. Yeah. He's nodding his head. Let's push. Push the front.
Yeah, spin it around, spin it around.
There they go. Get it again. A little more
there
spin.
It is.
Keep spinning, and then they'll be able to line up easier with the strap.
See, with enough people, anything's possible.
I hope they had their burritos this morning.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm ready for lunch.
I want a taco, right?
I'd eat something.
We get some tacos here in between the rollover. Everybody's out of breath, so they're going to regroup.
Yeah.
Put the strap on it. Going around the trailing arm.
Yep.
See, perfect.
Dean here's getting himself a little rollback, give himself some space.
He's probably like, here, I'll just go over there, put it on my thing, flip it over so we can go.
Yeah, on to the next one.
That's probably what he's doing, maybe. We'll see if he backs up over there.
Nah, I'd be getting out. I'd be filming this.
Yeah. All right, here goes the UTV. This could be exciting.
Oh, come on, camera. Don't glitch on us now.
Uh-oh. All right, so this is if you guys just joined us, this is the, which number was it? I don't even remember what number he was.
It was not
on our list. It was Oliver Flemente, if I'm saying his name right. I think I am. He was on one of my shows before, so I think that's how he said his name.
You got
right?
no excuse to mess it up.
We'll just say everybody's name wrong today, whatever. Anyways, they came around that 180-degree corner. Looks like they either went inside a little too much, got up on the berm, or came in with a little bit too much speed. Flipped it up on the side. Both the driver and the co-driver are out. They are okay. We saw them walking around. No big deal. They're just going to flip it back over here and then get going again. And then the Herbst truck that you see sitting at the bottom, Jordan Dean, will get to come back to the start, and they will re-rack him. This time will not count for him. This time will count for the 244 right here. So that their time is still ticking. At least they did it right where a bunch of people were, right? So there is people there.
That's very true. I've definitely crashed cars upside down in the absolute middle of nowhere, and you can do nothing but just hang out and wait.
See, that's going to be good if you had a Starlink, because then you can watch something.
This was
if you can take it off the roof so it can face the sky, because right here your Starlink's not going to work.
Nope. This was also like 2012 maybe, 2013 in Ridgecrest. Rolled the truck up in the middle of nowhere, up in like the big red dirt hills up there. Sat there, my brother and I watched the whole 1450 race from the upside down truck.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was
At
great.
least you got to watch the race.
Yeah.
Hopefully you had something to drink.
Yeah, oh yeah, always. Always pack food and water. Big snack guy.
All right, so we're going to give it a tug, and well, we should have had a better strap on there. Yeah. We got to get one of the AGM straps.
Oh, yeah, the
new
AGM
strap would come in handy right there. That would be perfect.
Brian Little, where are you? We need you.
Get them an AGM strap, boys. So now they're going to have to retie it again. Hope the knot's a little better than the first one, and then we'll get it flipped over. I mean, that's a heavy truck for a UTV to be pulling over right there. I'd be pushing at the same time.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be on the backside.
No.
All right, round two.
All right, they're going to push. I think they're listening to us.
Yeah, maybe.
So they're going to push at the same time. Here we go. Round two. You're going to have to yank it.
Yeah, you're going to have to give it.
You're going to have to give it a running start.
Yeah, there goes that.
There it goes.
All right,
they got it.
all right, all right.
All right, there we go.
All right. And they were smart enough to put it in park.
They were. Look at that. It didn't roll backwards. That does happen a lot of times, right? People get out, the truck's in drive because you were driving, and it's on a hill, and then you flip it over, and the thing runs down the hill, right?
The road. Yep.
So they were running one spare, we can see. The other one didn't fall off because I don't see it anywhere, so that was their strategy. We got the Jordan Dean entry right here waiting. You can see a Starlink on their truck. Mm-hmm. It's actually the center that the Monster's covering. They have one of the high-speed Starlinks on there. They've been doing some in-car footage at some of the races they've done. It's actually working pretty good. So cool to see the technology being used, live in-car, cameras in different trucks, different cars.
Yeah, and I believe Brian Moore, Temp Media Brian Moore, has been running all of their media lately. So that's probably like the big boost in all the technology when it comes to live streaming and video coverage and all that stuff, which is great to see. It's what this sport needs, honestly, is to get eyes on what's really going on and not just the highlight reels at the end of the day.
Definitely. And we have a look at the top 10. So here's a look at our top 10 so far. Like we said earlier, Jason McNeil in first place with a 708. We have the number 200 class champion truck in second with a 711. Ryan Hancock with Dustin Grabowski driving it in third place with a 712. Then we got a little bit of a gap to the Travis Williams truck. We got Elijah Kiger with Justin Davis driving in fifth. Mason Cullen in sixth. Jack Grabowski next. So we have Jack in seventh and Dustin in third. So you think Dustin's going to be talking a bunch of smack to Jack about how he was faster?
If they're brothers, yeah.
Of course, right?
That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, he must be.
How do you not?
Yeah. And then Dustin Swanson from Hawaii in eighth. Brent Fox races every race ever in ninth. And then William Hendrick in 10th. So that is a look at our top 10 overall so far.
Yeah, impressive.
Yeah, pretty close at the top. We've got a couple fast guys that can definitely challenge that top spot coming up. The one, like I said, Kyle Jurgensen, I think, is the fastest guy we have left on here. However, we had a late entry. Abdali Lopez got entered late and is going to be racing this class also. It wasn't on our list earlier. So Abdali is very fast as well. So he could definitely have a good time today.
I wonder what he's driving.
I think they have one of the pin trucks. Is the spec truck.
Spec truck? Okay.
Yeah. So this is the guy that was rolled over. We see he's just kind of cruising. He doesn't really have any reason to
not
go
pushing
fast
his
now,
luck
right?
anymore.
Yeah. He's just going to try to finish his lap, put it on the trailer, and go back, make sure everything's okay.
He already pissed off the wrap guy. No need to do it again.
Right? Yeah, he might be going back to the wrap place.
Right.
I think he's from Ensenada, so that's a good thing. He can probably just go back over there and get it fixed if it's messed up. So that's a look at that. All right, so we're going to, while he clears the track, we're going to run a couple commercials real quick, and then when we come back, it should be the Hagel brothers, Ethan and Ben, that are on the line, and then they're going to go, and we're going to keep going. So we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Welcome to Baja, California. Our unique blend of cultures, cuisines, and historical influences create surprising combinations and unexpected delights around every corner. We welcome you with the most revolutionary cuisine in Mexico, complete with a sky full of magical sunsets. Welcome to the million-star hotels. If you're looking for something astonishing, we hold the most important wine regions in all of Mexico, next to the best tacos in the world. Welcome to our own revolutionary and delicious version of Chinese food. Here, the sublimely unexpected is our norm. It's our pleasure to welcome you to our beautiful state, Baja, California, where everyone is always welcome.
Make your days count. Create new stories. Keep track of your pack. Go after adventure. Go crawl every rock. Conquer your playground. Explore every route. Go further. Go faster. Don't ever miss out.
Go further. Explore the trails less traveled. And reach your destination quicker with King's new Toyota Sequoia 2.5 OEM Performance Series kit. These 100% bolt-on kits feature front ride height adjustment, superior ride quality, and external finned reservoirs with optional wide-range compression adjusters to further refine your ride quality. See why we're the choice of experienced overlanders and order your Sequoia kit today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here for the 2023 K&N Score Baja 400 presented by VP Racing Fuels. I am Austin Fish Farner, joined by Nick Eisenhower, fellow 1450 guys here today, bringing you some trophy truck spec and trophy truck qualifying action.
That's it.
What do you think so far?
Excitement.
Excitement.
We've had a couple upsets. No, I don't call them upsets, but
we had one upset on its side,
an upside, if you will. Yeah, we had one. We've had one tip over so far, and 2 blistering fast qualifying times.
Yes.
So we are very excited to kind of see how the rest of these guys unfold and see where they stack up in the overall when it comes to the trophy trucks as well. I wonder where Jason McNeil's time will land him in the overall.
Yeah.
Probably pretty far up there.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they just cleared the course, and we have started again, it sounds like, or they're just about to. So we got Ethan Hagel is getting ready to start. He should be going off any second. and then we'll be hot again. So if you just joined us before the commercial break, we had a truck turnover. On their side, everybody was okay, and they cleared the course, and now here we go. We're hot again.
That's
the
it.
course is hot.
Yeah, got Ben Hagel behind the wheel of the Hagel Lumber racing machine here. Beautiful Alumacraft truck, orange like we talked about, stands out, easy to recognize.
Yeah, but you can see it again.
Yeah, that's it. Well, now they can just see us. They can't see the truck.
Yeah.
It's looking at us. But yeah, same thing. So that's definitely an important thing, you know. Crew guys as well as media-wise, you know, you want your car to stand out. You want to notice it from far away. You know, you got pit guys sitting there waiting for the car to come by. And, oh, look, there's our truck. It's orange. It stands out. Definitely don't want to paint it like desert sand or something like
exactly.
that. So,
your sponsors probably wouldn't like that too much
no,
either,
absolutely
right?
not. Absolutely not. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's been a very exciting qualifier so far. I mean, not a lot of big, wild things happening, but it is cool to see how these times are unfolding, and it's interesting to just see where everybody's lining up and stacking up.
Yep, and there's a look with one of our drones. That's the Hagel boys right there, out on course. So they're headed out. This is a 5.29 mile course, so just over 5 miles today. So far, it's been taking them anywhere between 7 and 8 minutes, roughly, to do one lap of qualifying. They get only one lap. That's all you get. You get one shot at it. It is what it is, and then that's how you'll start on Saturday. You do have all day tomorrow to fix your car. So like we were talking about earlier, if you have a problem today, you break something, you need to change something, you don't like the way the transmission gear was, the ring and pinion, anything like that, you can change it after today. You're allowed to touch the cars and make any changes before Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, there will be a lot of guys tweaking on this, tweaking on that. You know, you might change your setup a little bit for what you're going to do on a qualifier, but for the most part, it's probably just going to be a lot of you know, WD-40 and SC1, wiping everything down, making it nice and pretty, and churching your truck up for, you know, get it down there through tech and contingency and show that thing off.
Yep. All right, so here we go. This is another. This is one of the newer teams here. The Stephen Beal team. They've done a couple races. They have the full everything. They got the helicopter. They got the chase crews. They got the chase trucks. All looking good.
Yep, that's it. Very important.
All looks the same.
Yeah.
So nice. Sendero. I don't know what that is actually. Do you know what that is?
Neither do I. I do not. Maybe a little Google might find
it.
Like
like send it? Like they're going to send it? Like Sendero? I don't know.
We can look it up here.
But they are off course. You can see that's one of the first jumps right there. Not one of the biggest jumps of the day, but it's smooth so far. As long as you just finish smooth, that's all that matters today. Got a couple spectators out there. Some of that might be the crew guys actually in that spot too. This is in Ojos Negros today. And oh, they almost went the wrong way right there. That's that Y again. See, they didn't have it marked very good. You really have to mark that on the practice lap. Because when you come around that corner, the drivers are looking both ways, and they're like, oh, no, you know, so the co-driver's got to be, hey, stay left, you know.
Yep, nothing's going to bobble your time more than making a bobble on the racetrack. So you definitely want to keep track of that and make sure you're actually on the track going the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, that costs them at least a second or two, and some of these times are a second or two different, right? Just from lifting right there and going the wrong way for a second, that costs you a couple seconds, which could be a position or two.
Yeah, actually, when you span it over, we have 33 on our list, but apparently there's 36 that are going to be taking the green flag today for qualifying.
Yeah.
So those times will start stacking up. You'll definitely see, like, probably, like I was talking earlier, like 3 groups of guys. You're going to have your fast group, you're going to have your average mid-pack guys, and you're going to have the dudes that maybe had issues or what have you throughout their qualifier, kind of landing more in the 8-minute zone. So, you know, doing that could bump you from one of those packs into the next pack, whether it be a good thing or a bad thing. So you definitely want to make sure you do the best you can here on qualifying to land you in the position that you want to drive in all day.
Yeah, and any car that you start behind that you potentially could have been in front is a big deal, because that person's one more car's worth of dust that you have to drive through.
Absolutely.
And in off-road racing, driving through the dust and passing people is pretty much the hardest part of racing, right? And here's the corner where the last car rolled. Let's see if we get a shot here of them going around. So right there is where the last car tipped it up on its side. You can see it's actually a pretty tough corner. That guy actually almost blew the corner and went off after the corner. So it's a hard 180, and you're coming into it really fast, so you really have to get slowed down into that corner. Hopefully your brakes are working good. You should be, because you've only gone about maybe 2 miles so far, so hopefully your brakes are good. Sometimes when your brakes are a little cold, you know, they might be a little cold still and not work as good, right?
Yeah, but by this point, I'm hoping that your brakes are warmed up and good to go. And
you would hope so.
You would hope, yeah, that's true. But yeah, these guys, you know, being newer to the sport, you know, maybe they, you know, getting it figured out. But yeah, you know, a corner like that, you know, definitely getting in your zone, you're getting figured out. You're like, oh, cool, I've got this quick little qualifier, got to give it everything I got. And then something like that just makes you reel it all back in, you know, checks you back into reality a little bit before you make that 180.
Totally. So cool shot there. We see there's a lot of rocks in this course. We haven't seen any flat tires yet that we've seen on the course, but we haven't seen them at the finish line either. So not sure, but we haven't seen anybody stop with any issues except for the one truck that was flipped over on its side. So we got next truck getting ready to go off the line here. This is Garth Owens.
Yep, a 283, a Brenthal truck there. We had talked, this is a great way to get into off-road racing with Brenthal. Is, they offer an arrive and drive program where, you could just come in, show up, get in the driver's seat, cross the finish line, drive back home. Not even have to do it. Don't have to lift a finger other than that.
Yeah.
Great way to, see if this is really a sport you want to get yourself into in probably one of the most competitive classes. So,
definitely.
You might get shot down pretty quick, but, if you've got the want and the need, that's where you want to go.
Yeah, I think this class, like you said, is the most competitive in racing right now. Like the trophy truck class is definitely competitive too, but I think there's more cars in this class that can be competitive at the same time than there is in the trophy truck class. There's about 10 trophy trucks that are, the top competitive, going for a win every race. If you look, it's the same 5 guys that win every single race in trophy truck, just about, right? However, this class, there is different people that win in this class.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the same 5 that win all the time. It is a lot of the same people. Jason McNeil wins a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
But there is, random people that get in there that have a good run that can go out and win. Anybody can win any day in this class. I don't think anybody can win any day in trophy truck.
No, I don't think so either. You got to be a different kind of human being to run the trophy truck pace all day long.
Yeah.
Like that is just something else, Driving that fast in those wild machines, it's even something, I'm a veteran off-road racer, if you will, but like, holy smokes, trying to drive a trophy truck pace, I don't know if it's something I can do. Yeah. So darn fast.
Even just the pace of these, like we were talking about, is insanely fast now. You can see this is a good look. There's a lot of, you can't really tell from this angle, but that is a cliff to his left right there, right? Like you do not want to go down that cliff.
No.
If you go off at any one of these turns, you're going to be done for the day, right? So that's why you see some of these people taking their time. It looks like they're kind of checking up a little bit in some sections, but it's not really a easy course. It's kind of a tough qualifying, really. Here comes that hard 180, where the last couple cars had a little bit of issue.
Yep, you see him pushing a little bit.
See how he does?
There
Same thing. Look at that. So that corner is really getting blown out, it seems like, right? Because the earlier cars, we didn't see them having that issue there.
No, it's probably just like a big, flat, loose dirt turn.
Yeah.
And it's something that,
you're not getting any grip, right?
Yeah, you got to be, somewhat set up, and it takes a little bit of experience to get to that point. You got to really be prepared for that corner, a good 100 yards before that corner is even there. Get the vehicle in the position you need it to be in to make it around that corner properly.
Yeah, definitely.
You definitely cannot just come into that one, crank the steering wheel to the right and hope for the best. You're just going to push straight,
which is what we've seen out of the last 2 trucks that went through there.
Yeah, and you got to think, most people at home watching this understand that, but some of you who don't, the amount of traction that you don't have in here is surprising.
Yeah.
The front tires really don't grip as well as you think they will, and it takes a lot of, thought before you turn these vehicles. You got to get them to set them up one way to crank them around the other way and stuff like that.
Yeah, you almost want to be, turned to the left coming into that corner, right?
Snap
and then be
right
able
around.
to snap it around to get it to turn. Because, like you said, if you just come in and try to turn, it's just going to go right out of the corner.
Yeah,
it's not going to work. So we have the 266 on the line here. Looks like they're going to be next as David Ziegler. Going to be next. Another Brenthal trucks. A lot of Brenthals out here. It's probably the most amount of Brenthals in this class total, I think, huh?
I think so too, yeah. So Brenthal will be probably the #1 chassis builder in the spec truck class just because of the programs that they offer, the arrive and drive, and just the ease of going racing with Brenthal. And, even if you do purchase a truck, you can rely on them for all your pit stuff and all your logistics and what have you. And they'll prep the car for you. It's just a great way to get your foot in the door with off-road racing if maybe you don't want to, have a giant shop and a bunch of Super Duties with boxes on them and have to house a bunch of guys for these races. You can just, have these guys do it.
Yeah. All right, so next car, David Ziegler. Ziegler. See, once again, we're just going to mess with it. It's all right. The 266 of David in the trophy truck spec is about to go off the line.
Yeah. What is it saying? I before E except after Z, right? Is that how it goes? Or something like that.
Here's a look from one of our drones. Once again, car out on course. So this is Garth Owens right here.
283.
Another thing you see different between some of the chassis, some of them have the spares vertical, some of them have them horizontal, right?
Correct.
So this, you see, is that the fuel cell that is in between there? So they're basically on both sides of it. The other ones either sit on top of the cell, kind of, or right behind the cell.
Or inside of it, even, you know.
Yeah, they wrap around it. Lots of different designs on different builders on how they do the rear of these trucks.
Exactly, and a lot of thought goes into that. You know, whether it's weight distribution, the high and the low, the fuel weight as well as the tire weight. Because I think your fuel weight fluctuates from the start of the race to the finish of the race. That fuel is changing throughout the entire time, so you want to make sure you put that in a place that's not going to affect the chassis as much.
Yeah.
So, and then another thing that comes into consideration is actually the accessibility of those tires while you're on the racetrack when you get a flat tire, which is something that is absolutely inevitable when it comes to off-road racing, is getting a flat and being able to change that tire. So a situation like this, like on a Brenthal chassis where they are vertical, sitting there, you can almost just roll that tire out, put it on the truck, throw the other one back up on your knee, strap it down, good to go, versus maybe having to flip it up and over or do something crazy with it. In my opinion, changing a tire out of a rack like that is the simplest. So
yeah, definitely easy to get out.
But yeah, good consistent run here. Maybe a little bit on the conservative side. We'll kind of see. There's that push we were talking about, how you can't just crank the wheel and hope for the best. You kind of got to get the thing set up and get ready for it. But like we were talking earlier in the broadcast, is these first couple of guys going didn't have these two tracks and these berms to lean on as much as Paul has here. But later on in the day, these two tracks will get burnt in, and it gives you the opportunity to kind of lean the truck into that corner and gives you that confidence going around that corner that you're not going to step out and put the rear end of the truck into some rocks.
Yeah, definitely. So our times are going to be a little bit off for a little bit because we're going to have to wait until they figure out the time that truck was down. So we're not going to have any times for you guys for a little bit, but as soon as we do get times again, we will definitely let you guys know. Yeah. But here is a look at the top 10 before the rollover that we have to this point. So Jason McNeil was at top with 7:08.
Yep, and then we've got the last year's class leader, the 200 at a 7:11, which is just an impressive gap by Jason there. You got to think that time differential there is just super impressive. The number 3, the Ryan Hancock entry, the 288, driven by Dustin Grabowski at 7 minutes and 12 seconds. Number 4, Pat Sims with 7:16. Travis Williams with an impressive 7:20. Like we had talked earlier, at the San Felipe race, he maybe didn't qualify quite as well, but worked his way from the back of the pack all the way up towards the front. Elijah Kiger there in the 238 with a 7:20. Mason Cullen with a 7:25. Jack Grabowski with a 7:26. Dustin Swanson with a 7:27. And rounding it out, EJ Herbst in the 263 with a 7:29. So an impressive group of guys right there. Definitely a potential winner in that pack. And it all is going to unfold on Saturday, whether they have the clean day racing or what they can get figured out. This section right here is just great to watch, the high-speed section here through these jumps. I know we had cut to some Score International Instagram clips. Definitely something you can go check out during the live stream here is go check out the Instagram with Score and kind of see some more up-to-date updates and video clips and all kinds of fun stuff to kind of keep you involved as the qualifying unfolds.
And I just heard from Jordan Poole, who was in one of the trucks that went earlier. I asked him what the course was like. He said it's super tight with lots of day-ender rocks and probably 3 good G-outs on the course. So a lot of those rocks, like you were seeing earlier and talking about, they're day-enders. Oh, that's one of the G-outs right there. Look at that.
Right to the finish line. But that's what you got to do, man. You're rock qualifying. You got to let it hang out.
You got to go. You got to go. I bet their back hurt a little bit on that one, right?
You'll be all right.
Stuffed it a little bit.
You'd be surprised what a 40-inch tire will take. But yeah.
That was a good look there. And here we go.
So here, I'll leave this to you, Fish.
Are we down there already? I guess
we're there.
Huh? Yeah, so Kyle Jurgensen.
So word on the street is Fish thinks this is our top qualifier right here.
How much money you want to put on it?
I ain't got no money.
I don't want to
I'm self-employed. I don't have any money.
Yeah. This is going to be a fast run here, so hopefully we get our times going again, and we can see what he is pretty soon. But this is going to be a fast run. This will be a good one to watch. Hopefully the drone can follow him pretty good. This is going to be a fast run here. Kyle Jurgensen, he was going to drive the trophy truck also, but they had an engine issue, so the trophy truck is not going to be here at this race.
Correct.
They are just racing this race, the trophy truck spec, for the Baja 400.
Now, do you think McMullen is driving with him for the 400, or do you think Jurgensen will do the whole thing?
He's probably going to do the whole thing.
I would think so, too.
I don't know for sure, but it is, a shorter-ish race. He might split it with him just so that they get more time, for other races, but probably depends on how they're doing, too.
Yeah, I don't think McMullen needs any more time in these trucks. They spend tons of time racing these things around.
Yeah.
Now, Jurgensen, he is extremely fast in anything he touches, whether it's spec trucks, trophy trucks, buggies, anything. Just a very talented off-road racer. So very excited to see how he does here at the qualifying. We know for sure on race day he's going to be up there in that top pack running for a win, but exciting to see. Qualifying is always fun because you can sit there and, you got a full day to, bullshit about it or whatever during tech and contingency and talk about who was the fastest, who was the hot dog out there.
Yeah.
So, qualifying is definitely a cool place to see where everything kind of unfolds.
So after him, we're going to have Colton Husted is going to be next, and then we have a couple late entries. We're going to have Abdali Lopez is going to be, and then we have Oscar Arumbula. Once again.
This is where they should probably hire one educated person to sit right here in the middle to read the names.
So we have 3 more trucks after Kyle Jurgensen, and then that will conclude our, unless there's another late entry that we don't have on our list, that will conclude the trophy truck spec segment of qualifying.
Yep.
And we'll move on to the trophy trucks with their site lap.
Yep. We'll have a little bit of break here in the broadcast. You can definitely tune back in, I believe.
Yeah, once those are done.
I don't know how long the break will be, so just keep it playing on the back. Your boss is fine with this thing playing. Don't you worry.
It's almost lunchtime. It's 10:30 now.
Yeah.
So here's a good drone shot. See coming around a corner. Going to come up the hill here.
Yeah. This should be
one of the Brental trucks.
The 266 of David here, doing well. This is that cool section we got to watch earlier. It's fun to see the drones at different spots around this qualifying loop and just kind of see, how the trucks handle in different places and how the drivers themselves maneuver these vehicles different ways. Yeah, you got to tiptoe when you got to tiptoe, and you got to go fast when you got to go fast. So this is a little section here where, you want to keep your head about yourself and keep your tires under you and keep the truck going where you want it to go. And then, a little bit later on, like we saw towards the finish line, you can kind of let the thing hang out and, let her eat a little bit and get some big air there for the cameras. Yep, down here in this little canyon.
All right, I think I'm getting some times back here. So let's see. So Jordan Dean is going to get a rerun. Ethan Hagel looks like 7:48. So there's Ben Hagel driving, right?
Yep.
So 7:48 for them. So we got some more times coming in for you guys. 0.870.
There's another push there through the bushes. Now this is where you got to be careful.
What happened here? I was looking down at my times.
I just missed the corner. Now something like that, not necessarily a day ender on a short run like this, but when you run through the bushes like that, it's pretty easy to pick up like a slow leaking stick flat. And you do something like that on a longer race, next thing you know, you and your buddy are jumping out changing the tire, which is the last thing you want to do.
You never want to get out of the truck. If you have a perfect day and you can stay in the truck the whole time, that's always the best. Right?
Here's Colton Husted.
All right, so Stephen Beal's in with an 8:05, so 8:05.148 for Stephen Beal. And then we have Garth Owens in with an 8:02. So 8:05 and 8:02, those are the latest 2 times that are in. Once again, this is all unofficial. They'll be double checking all these times, and then the official times will be released by Score later today.
Now I wonder what truck Colton Husted's driving. I know, because I think his dad Eric Husted, right? Or I'm assuming because he has an all-wheel drive truck.
I don't know. Is that his dad? I'm not sure.
I got the same last name, so
right?
Or brother. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows what's going on there? But the trucks look very similar. They sound very similar. And I know Eric Husted has an all-wheel drive chassis, looks the same, which I believe is like a modified Porter of sorts. So I'm wondering what this spec truck actually is. I don't know if any of my truck nerds at home are watching. Shoot me a text and let me know what truck Colton Husted's driving. I'm curious as to who the chassis builder is, or maybe it's a homemade truck. Who knows?
Oh, I did get an update earlier. Ryan Millen finished with a flat. So we do have a finisher with a flat. Remember, he was a little bit slower than we thought he would be. He had a flat. Yeah. So he didn't change it, just finished. Like we said, you're not going to stop and change a flat here. You're just going to try to finish it.
Yeah, you're going to power on to the finish line. Big props to these drone operators hanging out there in the sun all day, filming these guys ripping around the desert for us to talk about. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes of these races, when it comes to volunteers and people working for Score International themselves that make this possible for all of us to enjoy, not just driving the cars, but, watching it at home. We've got a whole crew of guys up top running this live stream here, and, it's cool to see the sport progress where it has been and, make it a little bit more visible for people at home.
So another tip I just got, thanks Robert, was Colton is actually in the La Victoria truck.
Oh,
so the old La Victoria truck.
Yeah.
Truck.
Yep.
That is what Colton Husted is driving.
Right on.
Husted is driving today. So pretty cool.
That's an old Robbie Gordon truck.
Yeah, very, very old. That
very
truck has
old.
had lots of Baja miles on it, lots of race miles on it. So it's not the same as one of these current specs, but it's in the spec class because it obviously has the motor transmission. That's all you got to have really to be a spec legal, right?
You're right, pin truck.
So there we go. There's Abdali Lopez.
Yeah,
this is one of our late entries on our list, at least. So Abdali Lopez is going to be going next.
Yeah. I got a text here from GFO Seth saying the same thing. Robbie's old La Victoria truck.
Perfect.
So
very cool. That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah. It's cool to see a little piece of history out there racing around.
definitely.
I wish the air cleaner was still sticking through the hood, though. Maybe it had like a rain gutter Ranger body on it or something. That'd be a lot cooler, but it's all right. We're happy. So nothing like a little bit of history out there racing around.
All right, so we only have, I think, one more truck probably after Abdali, and then that will be the end of the trophy truck specs. We're still waiting on a couple to finish, get a couple times. We got, let's see, Paul Kraus did not go, I don't think, so we're going to scratch him off.
And we missed Chris Miller, too, so he might be stacked up. I saw his truck was ready to go. I saw it like on a trailer.
So one of them might show up here at the end.
Potentially,
we'll see, right? So David Ziegler is in with a, we'll have to wait for his time. That time's going to get adjusted, and we'll see what his is. And then Kyle Jurgensen would be next in, which hopefully get a good time.
I'm excited for that time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Hopefully we can cut to some drone footage
Hopefully
of
it doesn't
him.
make me look dumb and he's like really slow today or something.
Like a 750.
Yeah, like what the heck?
810 or something crazy. No, absolutely. Not unless he has an issue.
There's a problem.
Yeah, which is a possibility and all that stuff.
Always a possibility.
Yeah. That's the thing about off-road racing. You never know. It's not, it's not asphalt racing. It's not road racing where the course is exactly the same, and it's up to you to just hit your points perfectly. Off-road racing, you never know.
Yep, nothing is guaranteed. Yeah. That's a pretty cool shot here.
There's Hugh said, yeah. Old La Victoria truck. Still sounds cool. Very important. Sounding cool is very important, I think, in off-road cars.
Well, yeah, it's actually more important than
anything.
Anything, because people remember when you come by, right?
Yeah.
So the trick always used to be back in the day when we had actual transmissions, 5-speed transmissions in our trucks
with
a third pedal.
Got it, yeah.
The third pedal, a lot of people don't even know how to use that
Never
anymore
heard
nowadays.
of it, yeah.
So when you'd come by a group of people, you'd always downshift, so it sounded like you're going a lot faster.
Poor
like if you're in
builders.
fourth gear, you see people, you're like, oh, let's go to third. So then it sounds like you're way faster than you actually are. Now it's kind of hard to do that in here because you only have 3 speeds and you're not really going to go down to second, right?
No,
because then you'll actually go slower.
And you'll break some parts.
And you'll break stuff, yeah.
I believe there's a book with a lot of these tips in it. Has this been published yet?
Correct.
Yeah, the book of
the piece. That is in the book of the piece.
Yeah.
That is one of them.
Now, where can you buy this on Amazon? Can I get it on my Kindle?
It's a bestseller.
Can I read this on Kindle?
There's Abdali. He's looking pretty fast.
Yeah, very fast.
Looking a little loose in the back. That's because he's going a little faster. Here's that tight 180. Let's see how he does.
A little bit of push, but he's got it around.
Not bad. Not bad, right? Better than those other couple that we saw push all the way out.
Yeah, he's got all his fiberglass on. That's a win.
He stayed on the gas, too. It seemed like the rear actually slid around a bit more. So this is going to be a fast time from Abdali here.
I think so, too.
He's probably driven this more than anybody.
Yeah.
Because of this area.
That's where he lives.
Yeah, exactly. This is his backyard pretty much out here. So he's driven this course a bunch before. Guarantee that.
That's like if we could get like a Plaster City qualifier. Look out, brother. Right? I'll do that thing with my eyes closed.
Octave Wells qualifier, we're in.
Yeah, we're going to do the Shell Reef Expressway 100. Watch out.
So Abdali about halfway through the course right now.
And you'll see right there, perfect example, having those berms to lean into now.
Yeah, look at that. See how it caught, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just keeping them in the track. So big difference from the people that were going earlier when none of that was built up yet.
Yep. And that's something, maybe race day you don't necessarily want to get that crazy because there could be those little hidden rocks on the sidewall getters, but on a qualifying loop, let it rip.
Yeah.
A good looking truck there. A lot of fuel in the back of that truck. All right, what do we got here? This is one of our late entries. What's the number on this guy? 252 would be backstreet there. Nothing.
Maybe Oscar. It should be Oscar probably, right? Because he's after Abdali Lopez on our list. And then I did not have another truck after this. So this is either going to be our last truck or we're going to have Jordan Dean, right? Jordan Dean's going to go because he was stuck behind the rollover. So we're going to have Jordan Dean. And we're waiting on a couple times for David Ziegler and Jordan Brenthal, which is actually Kyle Jurgensen. We're waiting on his time to come in. They have to adjust it for the stoppage earlier.
Yeah, we just have a lapse time, but we need we need actual time. Oh, stepping out a little bit. Oh, boy.
Oh, getting a little out of shape there.
Yep. See right there, that's
the berm kind of saved him a little bit there too. Huh?
Yeah, they could put a damper on your qualifying run for sure if you got, you flatten one of those tires there.
Yeah. Yeah, it is Oscar. Just got confirmation of that.
Cool.
So we have at least one more truck we have going. It's going to be Jordan Dean, like we said. Get the re-rack because he came across a rolled over vehicle on the course. So you get to go again. And the question is, will any of these guys be able to top Jason McNeil with that top qualifier so far. Very, very fast time. Jason McNeil had a 7:08. Still the time to beat, and he was one of the first about dozen trucks to go. We've had about 2 dozen after him, and he still has the fast time. He's holding on to it, but we'll see if he can hold it down. There's that 180 that's got a couple people. He did pretty good on it.
I'd say so.
Came around, didn't get pushed out too far there.
Learned his lesson stepping on the other one.
Right?
Yeah, he stepped off the ledge once.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of rocks. If you look close, you can see a lot of big rocks. So he's getting off the side right there. That's not ideal.
No.
There is some big rocks on the side right there. Definitely a fun qualifying course. Jose G does a great job. So shout out to Jose G at setting up a legit qualifying course. This is really intuitive of what the race is going to be like. It covers a little bit of everything. You can't just go wide open on it. So this is definitely a pretty fun qualifying course to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, I always look forward to like the footage after the qualifiers that like Tuba and all those guys get.
Yeah.
So they know how to check these things out. They know where to put the camera guys. They know where to put the GoPros. So very excited to see all the footage that comes out of this one.
Yeah, it's fun to watch guys like Bryce Menzies that post their whole qualifying run too, right? From inside the cabs, you can see what it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
It's always fun to watch. Justin does a good job getting those out rather quickly after the race. There's that right-hand corner. See, nobody blew it actually so far, huh?
Well, we got trophy trucks still coming.
We do.
Yeah, those guys are moving at a much higher rate of speed.
I think it's one of those corners that you actually marked because you're like, this would be a day ender, so they all actually marked it. So there goes Jordan Dean.
Yeah, he could be a top contender as well, and the whole Dean family, they're quick. Everything from their dad to the whole team of brothers there, they're quick. So definitely hope to see a good run out of them. Obviously, the more cars we get stacked up on top of each other, the more fun Saturday's race is going to be.
Yeah, if a bunch of these fast guys are stacked up between each other, that's going to make some good racing on Saturday, that's for sure. There's so many top guys out here that it's going to be good racing in this class no matter what. So Jordan Dean looking pretty fast so far.
Oh, stepped out a little bit in that same spot there that the previous truck did. But we'll see if he can keep it together.
See how he does on the 180 right coming up, huh?
Let's see. See if this dune buggy guy can maneuver this big old truck around this corner.
Yeah, we'll see what he does. So his brother is driving in the trophy truck class later for one of the Herps. He's driving this Herps truck here. So pretty cool deal. Their dad usually drives. Pat, he's not coming to this race. He's not racing this run. So James is stepping in and taking his spot in the trophy truck.
Yeah. And this whole family sure is a force to be reckoned with when it comes to Class 1 racing and their old Bunderson race car. Holy smokes, these dudes are quick.
Especially in Nevada, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking pretty good. He's keeping it in the center of the track, not really blowing it out much, but going fast at the same time.
Fast, yep.
Pretty good. Looking good.
Yeah.
Remember, he got to see this section twice too, right?
Yeah, he's
all
at
the
an
way up to the
advantage.
180 up here at the end. So let's see, how does he do the 180? Right here's where his last run came to a stop because of a rolled over vehicle. There we go, they're flagging him. Slow down for the 180.
Yep, right there on the inside and
Pretty
back
good.
on the power.
Not bad. Got a little outside, but not bad. Didn't lose any speed, really.
I wouldn't say so. They're not putting any more time on the clock than needed.
Yeah. That's a big cliff right there.
Yeah, I
Right
just
on the
saw
side
that.
there?
Yeah.
For that angle, it definitely is different than when you're looking at it from straight above.
Yeah, and it looks like a little downside to the driver's side a little
Yeah.
bit there too, so trying to keep yourself up high on the ridge so you don't step down.
Yep.
Makes the dynamic a little bit tougher.
All right, so we believe this is our last truck on course.
I do believe so.
It's going to be the last trophy truck spec. We're still waiting to get a couple times from David Ziegler, Jordan Brenthal, which was Kyle Jurgensen, Colton Husted, Abdali Lopez. We're still waiting on their times for you guys. So as soon as we get those, we will let you guys know.
And we'll let you know if there's an upset in the qualifiers. But it's kind of looking like Jason McNeil himself did quite a run.
All right, so let's keep watching him for a little bit. There's that corner, and he's good. Coming through. This is a cool shot. He's been following him for quite a while here.
Yeah, this is a good one.
It's definitely fun.
I'd like to see him go through that finish line run. That's kind of the cool spot.
Yeah, where the other truck bottomed out a little
big
bit.
step
and then
down.
G out. See how fast he goes through there.
Wide open.
Wide open, right?
Wide open. You got to. You're qualifying.
Can he beat Jason McNeil is the question.
Oh. See, even something like that right there can put a flat in the tire, but he's pushing hard.
Yeah, at this point, you're just trying to get to the finish here, right? You're over halfway through the course.
And dune buggy guys are,
He's running both spares, too.
Yeah.
Full weight. Yeah, this is a really cool shot following him this whole way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this thing's got to be such a couch compared to a Class 1 car.
Oh,
like
right.
hits like that are nothing.
Yeah, you're hitting the floorboard in your Class 1 car, right? Literally, you're sitting, you're hitting your butt because you sit on the floorboard.
Yeah, and then the term panning out is literally the floor pan of the car hitting the dirt.
Yeah,
so.
that is your bump stop.
So, yeah, I think this has got to be quite a comfortable couch. So these guys probably, you know, have the guts to push these things a little bit harder in some of these spots than some of the other, you know,
well, that's
more
why you
cushion
see
truck guys.
such fast times out of these things nowadays, right? There's the finish line for the other truck in front of him, it looks like. Or right before it. He's going to go down and turn around, I think, come back the other way.
I do believe
It's a
so.
good little jump right there.
I'd say so.
By the King flags. I think they go down and then turn right and come back on that other side through the finish.
Yeah, there's Tuba right there.
Oh, a little kicker there.
Yeah. Let's see the Deans come through here.
Yeah.
Dear drone pilot, we want to watch somebody get crazy.
Yeah, see, there we go. He's going to turn right, and then he's going to come down that straightaway where that G out was into the finish. So let's see if he, let's see what this looks like through there. And then when Jordan comes through here, that'll be our last qualifier in the trophy truck spec class. I'm still waiting on a couple times.
I believe in that book we were talking about earlier, you know, your bestseller on Kindle.
Yes.
There is a chapter about nobody remembers who wins or loses, but who looks the best in a section like this, going through Maine, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So.
Yes, nobody remembers
important.
who wins or loses the race, but they remember who looked the fastest through Main Pit.
That's it.
Which would be basically
the finish line, yeah.
Yes.
So it's very important.
All right, so here's our last car on course for the Trophy Truck Spec class. Looked a little slow coming in there, but I think it's just a tight corner.
Yeah, just being smart through there, getting back on it.
And he's back on the gas. A couple tight corners right there. You can see that's really tight. It's a lot tighter than it looks from up in the sky, too.
Yeah, and you got to have the self-control to reel yourself back in to make that corner. You know, you're out there trying to set the fastest time you can, but you got to remember being able to slow down quickly and get back up to speed is a very, very important part of all this.
Definitely. Can't tell if that right rear bedside is loose a little bit or it's just the camera. It might just be the camera.
Yeah, it might be the camera. Well, maybe it's loose. It's okay. They got like 4 more trucks that look exactly the same. They just snake one off the other one.
Bedside off somebody else. Yeah, he's definitely on the gas there. You can see the roost around that corner. It's getting pretty soft. Look at that. That looks like silt right there almost, turning into silt.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a great camera view here. Following them all the way through this section.
Following the last car to the finish line.
Yeah, I guess it pays, you know, to end up in the very back. You get all the camera time.
Yeah. And still waiting on a couple other times to come in, and then that will be it for the spec trucks. All right, so getting towards the finish. It's going to come by all those photographers. That was a little kicker right there that we saw the other truck kick. Come down, he's going to do the hard 180-degree right-hand turn and then across the finish line. That's a good jump right there. You see that?
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good spot right there.
So yeah, hopefully we can keep this angle right here. This would be great.
Yeah, here we go. We'll follow him all the way down and then all the way back. That's another jump right there. That's why you see all the photographers right there, right? So when you see photographers, they're not just standing there because they like to stand there for nothing, right?
Yeah, there you go. That's a good setup for that corner. Use all the racetrack. Yeah. Get around that thing as fast as you can.
All right, final straightaway. You got to put it hammer down right here, wide open. Let's see how he does. If he's going to stuff it in that hole or it's going to suck it up.
Oh, it'll be fine.
Let's see. Does he check up? Haven't seen the nose dip. Nose is still up. Oh, he's slowing down a little bit. Did he slow down early?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, we got... Oh, I wonder what happened.
That was weird, huh? Did you think the finish line was sooner than it was or something?
Maybe.
A little weird there. Looks like it's still moving. All right, so that is our final qualifier. We are still waiting on times for a couple entries, specifically Abdali Lopez and Kyle Jurgensen. That could definitely be very fast on the leaderboard. We haven't got the times yet. We will update you guys as soon as we get them. It might not be till we come back for the trophy trucks, but we will keep you guys updated on that. We do have a couple social clips, I think, though, that we're going to put up, and then that will conclude the qualifier.
Go further. Explore the trails less traveled. And reach your destination quicker with King's new Mercedes Sprinter 2.5 OEM Performance Series kit. These 100% bolt-on kits feature front ride height adjustment, superior ride quality, and external finned reservoirs with wide-range compression adjusters to further refine your ride quality. See why we're the choice of experienced overlanders and order your Sprinter kit today.
The ultimate adventure tool with all the storage to hold even more adventure tools. The all-new adventure-ready Bronco Sport.
I got that right turn. We're good.
Meet up at the compound group up.
At 10-4. Yeah, for sure, dog. Good, little driver. Straight on through.
The K&N intake in my truck is a real game changer. When I'm towing, I need all the power I can get. The K&N intake helps me get that extra performance when I need it most. More power. Throw to your engine growl. Proven engine protection. The first upgrade I make to any truck is the K&N intake.
Intake I installed on my truck really transformed the way it drives. I use my truck all day for work, and I drive in a lot of different environments. It's never let me down, but it didn't have that extra kick that I craved. The K&N Intake gives my truck that extra edge in both performance and protection, and it sounds awesome when I step on the gas. Bottom line, with the K&N Intake, my truck and I can handle any situation.
I got that right turn. We're good.
Meet up at the compound group up.
At 10-4. Yeah, for sure, dog. Good, little driver. Straight on through.
Welcome to Ensenada. For those who are looking to expand their culinary horizons, a place where the adventures of the sky, valleys, and oceans come together. Ensenada, the capital of Mexican wine.
The finishing touches of any off-road vehicle are the things you add to make it your own. That's why we've developed a full collection of over 70 Polaris-engineered accessories specifically designed for Pro R. Created in partnership with some of the biggest names in the off-road aftermarket, there are custom wheels and tires, full aluminum doors, steel rock sliders, stylized mirrors and bumpers, innovative storage solutions, Rockford Fosgate premium audio upgrades, and even a high-visibility rigid chase light to help groups stay together. 3 distinct collections, Dune, Desert, and Rugged Trail, help organize all the choices so it's easy to find exactly what you want. Every single accessory was developed in parallel with the vehicle itself, so the look is seamless and installation is easy. Polaris. Think outside.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here once again with the 2023 Score Baja 400, the K&N Score Baja 400, presented by VP Racing Fuels. I am Austin Fish Farner. This is Nick Eisenhower, and we are bringing you guys qualifying live today. We are in San Diego, but qualifying is live in Ojos.
Yeah.
We just watched the Trophy Truck Specs qualify. They are all done. There was 36 of them, I think, that went off the line. Only one rollover out of 36.
Tip over. One tip over.
Yep, just up on the side. Didn't even go all the way over.
Mm-hmm.
So not bad. No one else really crashed. We didn't see any broken parts. We heard of maybe 1 or 2 flat tires, but that was it. So overall, pretty good qualifying for the spec trucks. We're waiting on a couple times still from a couple of the cars that went after the rollover. They're getting the times sorted out, and then we will have those for you guys when we come back.
Yeah.
Basically, Jason McNeil was the one to beat today so far, right? He was fast, one of the fastest people always, no surprise there. He had one of the top spots with a 7:08 that we know of, but there's a couple guys at the end there that might have beaten it.
Yeah, we had a couple people there on the list that we don't have times for as of yet, and that could absolutely knock him off of his perch up there. So I'm very excited to see. Like I said, we had that one tip over, which kind of goofed up our timing a little bit. So once we get that all caught up, when we come back around 12 o'clock for the trophy trucks themselves to run, we will absolutely have all the spec guys figured out.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. We will have an updated list for you guys when we come back. What we're going to do now, the trophy trucks are getting lined up. They're going to go out on their sight lap. So there's over 30 of them. That's going to take about an hour at least for them to do that. So we're going to sign off for a little bit. You guys all come back at noon in about 1 hour. 1 hour from now, we'll go back on. We'll have updated spec times for you guys. We'll have the top 10 leaderboard updated then. And then we will be going trophy truck qualifying shortly after that. They'll be done with their sight lap just after noon or so, and then we'll go live and bring you guys the rest of the qualifying today.
Yep, exciting stuff. I'm pretty excited to see how much, what the time differentials are between the actual unlimited trucks and the spec trucks. We kind of have an idea of what we think they might be running at, but I mean, we were pretty far off the ball when we were talking about the spec trucks. They surprised us, with how quick they were going around the track. So those all-wheel drive trucks are going to be pretty exciting to watch, and like he was saying earlier, tune back in around noon and we can watch that.
Yeah, so go get some lunch, go get some tacos, whatever you guys want to do. Get your lunch now and then come back at 12 o'clock. And we'll see you guys here with more exciting qualifying action from the K&N Score Baja 400 presented by VP Racing Fuels. See you guys in a bit.